Wizards. How are we all doing tonight? Are we ready for some story time? Also, is anyone else reading things these days? Tell me what you're reading. I'm going to need some more suggestions after this one. All right. Last time we read Secret Sorceress together, and I totally forgot to make a VOD. But we were Miali, who had been captured by barbarians. And I'm not going to do total spoilers about Miali, but I will say that with your help, we found our power. And we were able to make the world a better place from it. So I hope that Isle of Illusion gives us a journey of self-discovery as deep. I hope that we find our power. Here is the picture of the cover for this one. What do you all think this one's going to be about? Let me see if I can open it so you can see the whole thing. Ooh, The Witch Boy by Molly Knox Ostertag. Ostertag? What's that one about? The title intrigues me. Bunker Man is reading Kitchen Confidential. Yeah, I know enough about that one that it's probably not one I want to read on stream. Black Wizards from the Forgotten Realms series. Ravnos is reading. I do have some Ravenloft books I could read, although those are much longer. But I could read portions of them, or we could do like a series of reading through a book. Those are fun. Well, as some other friends join us, just because I am dying for some human interaction, I wanted to share with everybody some dicey boys I've gotten, some fun dice mail. I figure that people who are jumping into my stream likely are into dice, shiny math rocks. So hopefully this is something interesting for you all. Okay. First, I just got these really cool dice that look like, yeah, camera's cooperating. They look kind of like Jawbreakers. Yeah, everyone in chat's excited for the click clacks. And I really like the font. These are from Dice Envy. And also all these dice that ooh, a cat has shown up. If this is your first time watching a Lysa Penrose stream, it's not a Lysa Penrose stream until a cat interrupts. And some sirens go by. We've got some loud wildlife where I live. All right, Clara, no, don't sit on the dice. Okay, Clara, you're gonna have to come back later. Boop. Do a gentle toss, little cat swipe. Yeah, so these are really pretty, and also the D6 is like really big, and oops, it's upside down, and it's got the Dice Envy logo on it, which I think is the first time I've seen a set that's like that. I have some others that have this font, but not that logo, and the D6 isn't this big. Oh, it's out of focus now. Anyway, really like these Jawbreakers ones. The D4 is especially pretty. It's got lots of speckles. Beep, beep, beep. Focus on me. All right. If the camera's not going to focus, this is going to be a fun journey that we go on. All right. The next one is just a D20. It also has its own unique font, although this is a sans serif font, and it's like really round sort of letters. So let's see if this one will show up. And you can see it's got some little cherry blossom petals or something meant to signify cherry blossom petals in it. I haven't rolled this one too much, but I like having special D20s. Sometimes I'll just get a D20 and not a whole set of dice. Because D20s, if you roll a few low numbers, you lose faith, at least for that session, and you move on to the next one. So I like having lots of these around. This was a creator on Etsy. I'm actually forgetting the name, but the next two sets are from the Cozy Gamer shop, which someone just introduced to me recently. They do some handmade dice, but they also do really, really unique I'm thinking mass-produced dice that they work with somebody on. These have sort of a matte finish to them, like, or a frosted finish, but they're black and white, and they've got, I don't know if you can tell, they've got like these, let me move my arm out of the light, these really cool sparkles. And on the D20, the 20 has a cute little heart paw print, which kind of matches with their logo, which you can see on the D6. Hold up my arm. Will you focus? Boop. You will. And their logo is this little, oh no, everything's reversed. There we go. This little witch cat on a moon. Super pretty. Call Me Kramer is digging the fonts and says that they love a perfectly circular 0 on my D20s. Ravenous wants to know if I have a dice jail. I don't have a dice jail, and I actually don't usually, well, actually, I was going to say I don't usually punish dice, but it's because dice that do me dirty, I kind of just never use again. And they end up in just my collection of pretty dice to look at. So I have D20s that I feel like roll really randomly, or my lucky D20s. Dusty, my fiance in chat, says I give them to him. I gifted him these really beautiful dice. They were like a limited edition level up dice goblins, the Facebook group. They did a special dice with level 20, level up rather. And they roll like hot garbage. Gobbo Dice did a portray. Very true. A pantherby? Appenthrope? How do I say your name? Are you familiar with Libris Arcana? I've been getting their metal dice box, and they have been good for the price. I'm not familiar with them, so I'm going to have to look them up. Appenthrope. Thank you for correcting me so I can say your name properly. Okay. These last dice are also from Cozy Gamer Shop. They're all the dice are a little bit bigger. So actually, let me first hold up. I don't know if it's really showing off the difference in size, but the numbers are really big. The dice themselves are all bigger than those particular dice are usually in a standard dice set. And I'm not sure if you can fully tell, but there are little dandelion seeds inside the dice. Let me rotate different angles. Maybe you can get a better look. So these are really, really cool. They're my favorite set right now. You can really tell the difference with the D6. Let me show the same numbers here. Boop. And you can choose different, what's it called? You can choose different colors for the ink. I went with the bronze, but they also have this, it's black, but it has this sort of navy blue metallic sheen to it. That was really pretty too. Yeah, Cozy Gamer Shop. They're one of my favorite new shops that I've discovered. I just think that they have the most, if you don't want to drop like $70 on a dice set, because there are dice out there where 70 is actually a pretty good price for those dice. But you do want to get yourself a little treat. I think Cozy Gamer Shop has the nicest affordable dice that I've seen. Dice Envy is a close second that I really like. Die Hard Dice has some dice that are coming out soon that I adore. But thanks for looking at my dice, y'all. That just made me really happy that I got to share them with people. Dusty thinks I have enough dice. So it's nice sharing with people who maybe understand that there is no such thing as enough dice. Thank you, Call Me Kramer, and thank you, Dame Hex. Also, hello. Thanks for joining. Okay, Dusty, but I sometimes suggest to you that you might like some dice, and you basically are like, I have 2 sets, that's enough. Ravnos wants to know if I have any glow-in-the-dark ones. I think that I do, but they're like this like light blue color, and I think they actually glow in the dark blue as well. But I don't think I got them because they were glow in the dark. I think I got them just because that blue tone was very ghostly and it fit the character I was playing really well. All right, Dusty clarifies that he wouldn't deign to project onto me about having enough dice. So thank you for understanding. I do like to pass along the dice love. I guess I'm not really going to conventions or running at conventions because there aren't any this year, as we all know. But when I do, I sometimes bring, I think it's meant for people who are into making jewelry. There's like a box for sorting beads, and each section for beads is like the perfect size for a set of dice. So I like to bring that, and I can just kind of open it up and there's a tray of different dice sets. So if there's a new player who doesn't have dice, I just kind of let them pick one and they can have them. It makes them happy. Oh, Tiefling King, thanks for linking the book. I'm going to open that and make sure that hopefully it doesn't make everything go bonkers. But okay, yeah, it just opened in a new tab. So I shall save that to check out later. Dame Hex says that's such a cool idea. Oh yeah, definitely go to your local craft shop and check out the jeweler section. Things for beads work really well for dice and also for mini storage. Oh yeah, Call Me Kramer says that's what they use to transport minis to and from cons. Exactly. Also, hi, Doug in Texas. Welcome back. Thanks for joining. We were just talking about dice, so you haven't missed any story yet. Should we get into some story time, though? I can't fully read the back for you because there's a sticker on here, and I tried to peel it, and it seemed like it was going to peel the book, so I stopped. Ooh, Doug says, I'm a fairly new dice goblin. I got my first set in January and nearly a dozen sets since then. That's what happens. You just exponentially acquire sets of dice. Is there a type of dice that you really like? Or like a color of dice? Like I know some people really like metal dice. They love the weight. I really like acrylic dice because the looks can all be so different. And I feel like there's an art to that as well. But I also like gemstone dice just to, honestly, kind of just to look at. Oh, Randall, you have this one too? Randall, I guess, also has Isle of Illusion. But let's just jump in. I mean, let me read the first paragraph just as a little taste before we jump in. You are Lysa, secretly trained as a fighter, and your skills are about to be severely tested as you follow the footsteps of your missing brother in his quest to destroy the evil illusionist, Treg, who holds your family's future in his hands. And then, who knows what happens? Ooh. So, Doug, you've acquired some gemstone dice. Bloodstone's a really, really, really pretty stone. I love that it can have so many different flecks of colors. If folks are into talking about click-clacks, next time I'm going to start and bring all my level up dice. And we can ogle those together. Tiefling King, I like plastic dice because I am a bull in a china shop. Call Me Kramer says, yes, please. Okay, cool. I'll bring some more dice for my collection next time to talk about. I also went through a phase of like searching every different indie dice maker I could find and trying to collect sets from them, but there are just so many now. Oh, Randall's is typing up the rest of the paragraphs. So he is Tim, a young adventurer with a frank, open face and skills of a thief. And then there is Max, a scholarly magic user with the eyes of a mystic and the ability to make you feel emotions you've never felt. Oh, I wonder if that's like an enchantment thing, or if that is our romantic interest. Or maybe this book is going to give us two romantic interests and we don't just fall for a guy we met and promise to marry him the same day. Spoiler alerts for Secret Sorceress. All right. Will your fantasy adventure lead you to your first romance, or will the decisions you make carry you into realms from which there is no return? In a HeartQuest book, you, the reader, are challenged to pick a path to romance and adventure. All right, let's get reading. Ooh. Okay, first I'm going to show you all the picture. It's opposite where I'm reading. Also, I'm sorry if I'm like glistening right now. It gets really hot in my office in the afternoons. And I'm already like a polar bear human. Don't like the heat. Okay. The warrior's battle axe gleams sharply in the early dawn light. He studies every move you make as you circle around him. Your father's enchanted sword glows softly in your hand as you try to spot a weakness in the fighter's armor. Suddenly you see it. Each time he raises the battle axe higher than his shoulder, his small shield drops at least 6 inches, exposing his naked throat. You circle the warrior another time, just to make sure about the careless habit. Yes, there it is again. You scream your war cry and rush toward the tall figure. His gleaming axe towers above your head. The shield drops. Your magical sword lunges, its glowing tip aimed for the vulnerable spot at the base of the fighter's throat. You raise your own shield above your head to parry the axe blow. The young warrior's brilliant blue eyes widen in surprise as he realizes his mistake. Your sword tip presses against the metal chainmail armor, ready to plunge upward into the tanned, muscular throat. Your opponent's thick blonde curls tremble with laughter. A broad smile brightens the smoothly shaven cheeks. Garland falls to his knees in mock surrender. "Please, noble fighter, let me live," he jokes. "Give me my life, and I will never challenge you again." He removes the heavy helmet, allowing his shimmering golden hair to fall loose. Your brother's blue eyes are bright with excitement as you grin and lower the sharp point of your father's enchanted sword, Avenger. "You know, Lindy," you scold, "you really need to watch that shield. If I could get through, imagine what Treg will do to you. You're not ready yet." Scrambling to his feet, Garland looks fiercely at you. "I can't put it off any longer, Lysa. Treg grows in power each day. Father's getting old, and I want to give him at least a glimpse of sunshine before he dies. I'm leaving today," he adds seriously. "No, Lindy," you cry. "You're not ready to fight Treg's sorcery or his sword. Do you think I've been helping you train all this time just to see you throw it away? I'll be 16 soon, and I can go with you. We'll have a better chance against Treg if we're together." Your brother's face stiffens as he grabs your shoulder with his strong, gloved hands. Gross. Hate the next sentence. "I've told you before, Lysa, this is a man's job. Our father was once the wealthiest and most famous fighter lord in this kingdom. Now he's a helpless blind man living in a farmer's cottage. Treg's a devil, Lysa. His magic and influence make him more powerful than the king himself. My mind is made up. I leave today." I'd say there were a couple things problematic with that paragraph. There were different times. That was 3 years ago. Tears flood your eyes as you remember the frustration you felt on that cool morning. Garland left to fight Treg, the evil sorcerer who blinded your father and stole your family's great wealth, and now Garland, with his beautiful platinum hair and flashing smile, has disappeared from the face of the earth. No one knows where he went. You have waited these long years for news, good or bad, but none has come. The secret practice field hidden by haystacks in an abandoned pasture fades from your memory. You are sitting at your bedroom dresser before its large mirror, one of the pieces of furniture that survived the fires set by Treg's sorcery. The young woman in the mirror is very different from the hoyden of 13, who helped her brother train for his dangerous quest. Long ash-blonde tresses drape softly over the flannel nightgown, framing your sun-tanned face and stunning blue eyes. Your lips are rose-colored, full and beautifully sculpted. In the past 2 years, you have grown several inches. Your figure has become fuller and more shapely. The long hours of secret training which you have continued since Garland's disappearance have given you the firm, healthy body of a mature woman. You will be 16 in just 3 months, and your father wants you to be married before your 17th birthday. Ever since Garland disappeared, you and your mother have had to handle most of the hard farm work by yourselves. Your father hopes that you will marry someone who will take your brother's place at work on your rundown estate. Are you ready for bed, Lysa? Your mother's tired voice interrupts your thoughts. Her thin body, clad in a faded blue nightgown, stands in the doorway to your bedroom. Her tired, drawn face is heavily lined with the kind of wrinkles that come with hard work in the sun rather than with age. It is difficult for you to remember her as the noble daughter of a Viking prince, dressed in the finest silks and jewelry. "It's good to see you're primping in front of the mirror," she says with a smile, mistaking your startled look for one of embarrassment. "I'm glad you're beginning to notice how beautiful you are. Perhaps it will make you decide to stop wearing those awful leather trousers and shapeless shirts of garlands." Oh no, you think to yourself, she's starting again with her ideas of what a proper girl should be. "We're going to ask the oldest Stoddard boy to come for dinner, Lysa," your mother states. "I saw him watching you at the market yesterday. If you ask me, he's truly interested in you, and he'd be a fine catch. You'd be the envy of every girl in the county. I bet that if you put your mind to it, he'll ask you to marry him before Christmas." "Mama, I'm not ready to marry Kevin Stoddard or anyone else. I want to find Garland and finish his quest. As long as Treg lives, I could never even think about a husband or settling down." "Lysa, dear," your mother cries, "I have lost my son to that evil man. He blinded your father. I don't want anything to happen to you. You're such a beautiful girl, almost a woman. You could marry anyone you choose and live in peace." "Mama, none of the boys around here want to marry me, and that includes Kevin Stoddard. I scare them. They know I could beat them in a fair fight. There's not a real man among them." "Well, if you'd stop sneaking off to the woods with that wretched... Okay, I guess I'm gonna read this sentence. Okay. "Well, if you'd stop sneaking off to the woods with that wretched brownie to play with your father's sword, maybe a few of them would start seeing you as the beautiful girl you are. A man wants a woman who knows how to cook and sew. He doesn't want a warrior with muscles stronger than his. Men want to see you wearing gowns, not leather pants and tunics like a stable hand." Oh, I see someone making a book request in the chat. I'm probably going to focus on reading D&D books or adventure books for now, but thank you for the suggestion. Also, I don't know how I feel about having read that out loud, or whether I'm misinterpreting, or... I don't know. Don't really like that paragraph. This book so far is feeling very different from Secret Sorceress, where we started reading that and we were like, oh, it wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to be. And this is kind of like what I expected a romance and adventure book targeted towards girls to be, like, very focused on how she looks and everything. Call Me Kramer wants to know when this was written. 1983. Oh, is it a type of fairy? I totally misinterpreted that. Randall, we are on page 10. Okay. Well, then I'm sorry for totally misinterpreting that. I'm a little bit embarrassed. Still don't love the name. Kind of glad I don't think we have those anymore in the game. But let me continue. "It is an old argument. Your mother has been saying the same thing since you were 10, tagging along behind Garland everywhere he went. You never wanted to play with dolls or gossip with the village girls about the boys in the neighborhood. You were always too busy, either with farm work or with battle practice." "You two are at it again, hey?" Hildrick's booming voice comes from the doorway. The old warrior's sightless eyes stare straight ahead. His clothes are richly made but worn. Fine lace at his collar and sleeves suggests the grandeur of the fighter lord's prime years. Hildrick's beard is pale blonde, hiding the silver strands threaded with his thick curls. "You must try to forget your brother's quest, Lysa." Your father takes your hand. He's gone forever, and we must think of our future without him. A true warrior never questions his duty. Only you can help us now, Lysa, but not by fighting Treg. My sight and our wealth, like my son, will never return. You must marry soon and bring to this house a husband who can take Garland's place." "No one can take Garland's place, Papa," you exclaim. "I know that he is alive. We must try to find him and destroy Treg. That is my duty, not marriage to one of these spineless farm boys." "Stifle your insolence, daughter," Hildrick's strong voice commands. "You're only a child, a girl. Treg's sorcery is stronger than 10 of the mightiest seasoned warriors. We must rebuild our fortune without your noble brother. Treg has killed him, Lysa. You must face that fact. Your father's words fill you with sorrow. You know that he's right. Even if you're strong enough to face Treg, you do not know where to begin looking for the evil sorcerer. With a sob, you clutch your father's strong arms. Papa, I miss Garland so much, and I just don't know how to be someone's wife. It doesn't seem right to make myself into something I'm not. I want to do the best thing for all of us, but I don't know how. Hildrick's battle-scarred face softens. It will come to you, Lysa, he reassures you. Just have patience. I do not need eyes to know how beautiful you are. In time, you will find a man who will love you and be a good husband. But first, you must do as your mother says and begin to act like a woman. Tomorrow I want you to start sewing some proper clothes, some gowns and frocks to replace those farmhand things you like to wear. You must begin to see yourself as my daughter and not as a son to take your brother's place. Ugh. Y'all, this is painful. I'm hurting. Also, she and her mom handle all the farm work, and he wants her to wear, dresses in the fields. She's wearing practical clothing for what she has to do. I'm mad. Is anyone else mad? Just me? Run away, fight the power. A great injustice to overcome. You're right. You're right. We haven't had a chance to make choices yet. Maybe we can fix this. Your father's strong hand grips your wrist tightly. Hate that too. Don't like that. Let go of her. As long as your hatred for Treg fills your mind, you are in his evil control, Lysa. You must not let your life be ruined by that monster's presence. A true warrior conquers such hatred. When the time to face an enemy is at hand, your thoughts must be clear. A fighter who enters battle in hatred has already lost. I'll try, Papa, you say, firmly. Excellent. Hildrick's joyful voice booms. Now, get some sleep. You have a busy day ahead of you. Your mother hugs you warmly and kisses you goodnight. Her tired face is bright as she and Hildrick leave your room. You blow out the candle on the dresser and lie down on the feather cot. Soon you drift into a sleep troubled with nightmares. You dream you are being courted by Kevin, and he is to be your husband. The dream is pleasant, and you find yourself falling in love. Kevin's handsome features and gentle words caress your thoughts. You can feel his strong, tanned hands brush your cheeks, softly holding your face. His lips come closer to yours, and you close your eyes to kiss him. Then suddenly, his touch becomes rough. You open your eyes in horror. Kevin's youthful beauty has changed into something evil. A terrifying creature with a filthy bald head and savage yellow eyes leers at you. Its toothless mouth is close to yours. The hands on your face have turned to wrinkled paws, their sharp claws piercing your face. Treg! You try to scream, but not a sound comes from your paralyzed throat. The sorcerer pulls you closer, closer. You jerk awake, sitting upright in your cot. The darkened room is still except for the low rumble of your father's snores next door. The panic of the nightmare leaves you wide awake, as it has many nights before. Without a sound, you swing your legs to the floor and tiptoe through the cottage to the ladder that leads to your brother's old room. Silently, you climb to the attic. Garland's room is exactly the same as the day he left. Your mother still dusts it as if he will be returning at the end of each day. Bright moonlight streams through the small attic window, shining on the cot and trunk. Garland's clothes hang from pegs on the floor, casting long shadows on the bed. You sit on the floor by the window, staring at the empty cot. The polished brass buckles on your brother's trunk glitter in the moonlight as a gentle breeze causes the thin curtains to flutter. Garland always let you watch while he searched the jumbled trunk for some particular item. Slingshot, penknife, fishhook, things that girls never owned. The sturdy little trunk with its leather and brass wrappings became a treasure chest for you, full of mysterious boy things that were much more interesting than dolls. Since your brother's disappearance, the trunk has become a shrine at which you renew your resolve. Tonight, you are rummaging through the varied collection when you notice that the clothing lining of the trunk lid has come loose. The cloth lining, rather. You try to stuff the torn cloth back into the edge of the lid, but you stop when you feel something under the lining. You carefully loosen the cloth enough to slip your hand into the opening. You feel an object, no thicker than a small stick, and pull it out with 2 fingers. In the bright moonlight, you can see that it is a tight roll of parchment, tied with faded bits of red ribbon. You untie the bows and then carefully unroll the scroll. It is an ancient, faded map, drawn in black and red ink, with Pitlick Isle written in fancy old letters at the bottom. Pitlick Isle is shown as a high mountainous plateau, surrounded by a thick jungle. A twisting river starts on the slopes of a smoking mountain in the center, winding to the jungle below. There are river divides into many streams, each flowing through the low, swampy area of the delta and into the sea. In both the jungle and the sea around the island, crudely painted illustrations show hideous dragon-like monsters with enormous bodies, long necks, and fierce teeth. Flying dragons with huge bat wings are painted above the cliffs by the river. Several dotted lines mark trails that lead through the jungle and along the river banks. One of the trails ends mysteriously at a faded red X. There, on the side of the smoking mountain, just above the river source, is a single word in your brother's handwriting. Treg. There's a picture. There you go. Randall. Whoa, that map means her brother plays D&D. Your heart pounds as you realize what you have discovered. This must be Garland's map for finding Treg's stronghold. At last you have some idea of how to find your brother. All you need to do is reach Pitlick Isle and then follow one of the paths to the place marked on the map. And maybe, just maybe, you could return home with your brother and restore your father's sight by destroying Treg's evil sorcery. Only a few hours ago, you had decided to give up your dream of finding Garland and obey your parents. But now, with Garland's map in your hands, a new feeling of hope surges through you. Somehow you know your brother is still alive. You know this map will lead you to him. And to Treg. You must choose either to please your parents by settling into a safe and peaceful life with a loving husband, or to risk everything by following Garland to the evil Sorcerer's Island. What do we do, chat? Do we decide to follow our father's wishes and stay at home, in which case we'll turn to page 18? Or if you choose to use the map to try to find Garland and Treg, turn to page 22. I know, Randall, what a tough choice. Well, duh, let's go get that sword and kill a Treg. Oh, hi, Teos. Alpha Streams in the chat. We are deciding whether we want to go on this adventure or if we want to put this book away and have Lysa go get a different book. Okay. Everyone's like, use the map. Okay, we're going to turn to page 22. Yep, got a heart quest. Heart quest's got a quest. Staring at the old map in the moonlight, you remember the brave look on Garland's face whenever he spoke of finding Treg. The memory of your brother's courage and your certainty that he is still alive makes your choice clear. Somehow, you must go to Pitlick Isle. Your mind racing, you begin to plan. You will take your father's enchanted sword, Avenger, and the shield, of course. Wait a minute. They sent this poor boy on a boy, because he was young, on a mission to fight an evil sorcerer, and he doesn't even get the family treasure, like the enchanted sword. He also didn't take his map. I think I'm understanding why Garland... Randall writes, I'm sure he had his own sword. Oh, because he's a boy, they made him his own enchanted sword? I feel like enchanted swords are probably hard to come by. Okay, you're right. You're right. Let's continue. Your mind racing, you begin to plan. You will take your father's enchanted sword, Avenger, and the shield, of course. But you need money to pay for passage to Treg's Island. That could be a problem because Garland took all the family's extra money with him. You ponder a moment and then remember the necklace your mother gave you. A single large emerald on a fine golden chain. It is one of the few pieces of jewelry left after Treg's destruction of your estate. Your mother keeps the pendant in her jewelry box, but it belongs to you. You are sure that your mother will understand if you sell it to buy your passage to Pitlick Isle. Clutching the map, you creep quietly down the ladder and grope your way through the darkness to your room. You dress in your most comfortable leather trousers and tunic and stuff a change of clothes into a knapsack. Then you cross the hall to your parents' bedroom. Your father's loud snoring covers any small sound you make as you rummage through the jewelry box. The emerald pendant is easy to find in the dark. and you place it carefully in a pocket of your tunic. The magical sword and shield hang from a peg in your father's closet. With practiced skill, you swiftly buckle the enchanted sword around your slender waist and strap the magical shield to the knapsack. You look sadly at your parents asleep in the heavy four-poster bed, hoping they will understand why you must disobey them and follow Garland. Then you tiptoe from the bedroom and slip quietly out the front door into the bright moonlight. You have one more important mission before you leave. So you take the path that runs past the practice field to a magnificent oak tree. The base of the tree appears to be hollow, but you know that your old friend... Oh, okay. All right. It is a type of fairy. Not something like really horrible. Okay. The base of the tree appears to be hollow, but you know that your old friend, the brownie Nysla... Nysla? Nysla. Nysla. Nysla has disguise the entrance to his burrow in this way. You poke your head into the cleft of the tree and call softly, Nysla, wake up, it's Lysa. Come on, get out of the bed. A muffled scrape comes from the ground beneath your feet. Then the darkness in the tree is broken by a shaft of light illuminating the heavy gnarled roots. The sour-faced little brownie squints at you from his burrow. A soft leather stocking cap dangles over one ear. What's going on out here? Demands Nysla. Why are you yelling and screaming in the middle of the night, youngin'? I've got something to show you, Nysla. I know where Lindy is and how to get there. His wizened dark eyes glare at you from the hole in the tree. Hold on to your britches, and let me get my clothes on, Nysla says gruffly, ducking back into his burrow. In a moment or two, the old brownie drags himself into the moonlight. Let's get a fire going so we can have some light on the map I've found, you suggest, pulling the parchment from your tunic. The brownie circles the air above his head with a tiny pointed finger, muttering words you do not understand. Oh, wow, there's a picture. And this is not what I imagined he looked like at all. He looks kind of like a how I picture a gnome. I guess it's a type of creature. A dazzling magical light flares above you, illuminating a wide circle around the brownie. In the glare of Nysla's light spell, the details of the map show clearly. Your friend studies the parchment carefully, his sharp eyes widening with interest as he begins to understand what you've found. Appenthrope, not Dobby. Yeah. Treg, he whispers coarsely. This must be... Yes, I know, Nysla. I need your help. Tell my father where I've gone if I don't come back within a few weeks. He should be told why I disobeyed him too, so please tell him about the map, but not right away. The brownie nods, then smiles brightly. I'll help you in another way too, Lysa. You wait here, missy. Old Nysla has something special for you. The little figure disappears in front of your eyes, extinguishing the glare of his magical light. Nysla astonished you the first time you saw him do that vanishing act. Now you know that forest brownies travel in ways known only to magicians and sorcerers. In a few minutes, the bright light of Nysla's spell floods your eyes again. The sprightly little man is back, dragging a huge cloth sack behind him. The bulky sack is almost as large as the brownie, but he seems to have no difficulty pulling it. He drags it to your feet and smiles with sly excitement. Here's your present, child. Go on, open it. Looking inside the sack, you see the soft glimmer of polished metal. Suddenly you know what it is. Armor. Magical armor. Crafted with the skill of brownies, lighter than leather but harder than iron, you hurriedly dump everything on the grass in front of you. In the glare of Nysla's light, you see a complete suit of fine chainmail, a breastplate, and a helmet. It is all made of the finest metal, called mithril, and it gleams with a bluish glow. Help me get this mail on, Nysla, please, you urge excitedly, already unbuckling Adventure's scabbard and removing the knapsack. With the brownie's help, you slip the suit of mail over your tight leather tunic and trousers. You watch wide-eyed as the glowing metal links adjust themselves magically to the rounded contours of your body. The mail gauntlets fit your hands like the finest, softest kid gloves, allowing your fingers to move with ease. Nysla then buckles the molded breastplate over your shoulders and to your side. The skillful brownie has tailored every detail of the armor to fit even the slightest curves of your youthful woman's body. The armor is so light and cool that you can hardly feel it, yet you know that its magical strength will protect you from most ordinary weapons. The old brownie hands you the helmet. The old brownie hands you the helmet. It is more like a cap, decorated with engraved fleur-de-lis, and it has a row of sharp boar's tusks arranged around the rim. A plume of golden lion hair trails from a pointed crest on top. The armored cap is lined with a soft leather and lamb's wool. As you place it on your head, you are astonished to feel the comfort of a perfect fit. Oh, Nisla, it's splendid, and I can move in it so freely, but how did you know? The little man grins slyly and then confesses, I didn't. It was to be your birthday present. By the way, that armor will grow with you. I guess you could call it a lifetime suit of mail. It's magic, so you can afford to make a few mistakes, but only a few, he cautions. It will not save you from yourself. Do the wrong thing, and you might as well be wearing armor made of oak leaves. Thank you, good friend. Thank you. The wizened little brownie avoids your affectionate hug and gestures irritably with his hand. That's enough. You need something else. Treg is no ordinary fighter. His power as a sorcerer lets him alter everything you see or hear. When you're within his range, you will not be able to trust your own senses, Lysa. Things will not be what they appear to be. Much of what you see may only be illusions produced by Treg to control you. Ooh, it sounds like that Spider-Man Homecoming fight. You mean Treg is so powerful he can change real things, you ask? No, but he can change the way you see them, Nisla replies. And that amounts to the same thing. If you can see, hear, smell, and feel a giant spider grabbing you, it's really there as far as you're concerned. Only after you slash it to pieces will you see that it was really a palm tree, or a friendly puppy, or Garland, you gasp. Now you're beginning to understand how tricky your enemy can be, the brownie says softly. If Treg ever discovers you're Hildrick's daughter, he will use every sorcerer's trick he knows to control you. You must trust no one with your identity, Lysa. No one. But Nisla, how will I be able to tell the difference between things that are real and those that Treg makes me see? That's what this is for, says Nisla, reaching into his... She is cheating. All these magic items. OP. Nisla, reaching into his forest green leather breeches, he holds up a shining silver ring encrusted with tiny red jewels and hands it to you. Even through the small gauntlet, you feel the ring throb in your hand. On the inside of the ring, you can see an inscription etched in gold, but the letters are foreign to you. You're holding an elven ring of protection, Lysa, Nisla explains. Ooh, I should have made y'all guess. Like, I wonder if it looks like what it looks like in the DMG. Someone tell me. Call Me Kramer's like, and a ring of true sight, right? Like, that would be way more useful if we're just doling out magic items. You're holding an elven ring of protection, Lysa, Nisla explains. An old friend of mine owed me a small favor and gave it to me years ago. It's an enchanted ring that will strengthen you against evil powers such as Treg's illusions. Whenever you approach an evil force, the ring will warn you and give you time to guard yourself. Put it on, leave it on. It is far more valuable than this fine armor if you have to face Treg. I also want to say, I was thrown off because when Nisla is introduced, he has a very distinct accent or voice written into his dialogue, and that has like completely disappeared. So it wasn't me adding a funky voice to him. I was just reading what was in here, but it's gone now. You pull the armored glove from your left hand and slip the enchanted ring on your third finger. Almost immediately, the throbbing of metal merges with your own heartbeat. The ring generates its own heat, but is only slightly warmer than your skin. Soon your fingers become accustomed to the pleasant throbbing and warmth. The ring is perfectly comfortable. You slip the chainmail gauntlet back over your hand, covering the ring. Thank you again, my old friend, you say. With this ring, this armor, and my father's enchanted shield to protect me, and the magic of Avenger to help me fight, I will find Garland and destroy the sorcerer. Your hand on the jeweled hilt of Hildred's magical sword begins to tingle and glow, as the intelligent weapon senses your meaning. Give me the map, Nisla. I want to reach Skipton by dawn to catch a boat and start my journey. As the brownie hands you the parchment, the ring of protection comes alive on your fingers. It throbs rapidly, and its warmth increases. The change startles you so that you drop the map. Instantly, the ring returns to normal. Pleasant feeling. What is it, Lysa? Cries Nisla. The map, you whisper. It made the ring grow hot. Look. Jerking the gauntlet from your left hand, you gingerly touch the brittle parchment with one finger. As soon as your flesh contacts the map, the red stones of the ring start to glow and pulse. Nisla's sharp eyes study the glowing ring, then he frowns at you. It's a trap, Lysa. That map is cursed, probably by Treg himself. Garland followed it and never returned. You must not use it, or you too will walk right into Treg's evil hands. You step back from the ancient parchment at your feet. If Nisla is right, it would explain why Garland has never returned. You must decide whether to heed the warning of the chanted ring or to ignore it. We have a decision, everybody. Okay. If you decide to follow the map anyway, we'll turn to page 34. If you decide that the quest is too dangerous and you prefer to stay in the village, turn to page 30. Right, Randall? The second choice is kind of just the first choice all over again. I hope that we get, like, some meaningful choices that aren't, do you want to end the story or would you like to keep reading? I mean, we've got to follow the map. I mean, we could say no and just see what happens. No, I just cheated and look, page 30 was the next page and I just cheated and it sends us back to there's a little bit of text and then it sends us to the page that the original do you want to give up choice was. TK wants to marry the miller's daughter and raise chickens in the village. They're going to make us marry Kevin Sussman or... Actually, I think... Is that... whatever. I'm totally forgetting the name of the person they're inviting to dinner tomorrow. All right. If you decide to follow the map anyway, we're going to turn to page 34. TK, gross. Kevin the accountant. Kevin Bacon. All right. Are we going to have a real choice? Okay. All right. We've got a proper choice at the end of this one, I think. I don't have a choice, Nisla, you cry. This must be the map that Garland followed. I must follow it too if I want to find him. With a decisive toss of your head, you pick up the map, roll it into a tight cylinder, and thrust it into your knapsack. The enchanted ring continues to send its magical signal for a moment, then returns to its normal condition. If you won't change your mind about following that map, Lysa, at least try to remember what I said about trusting people, Nisla urges. Always be on your guard and expect the unexpected. Don't tell anyone who you are or what your real purpose is. I appreciate everything you've given me, my friend, and I will heed your advice. Goodbye, Nisla, and thank you. The sun has already begun to warm you by the time you've walked to the outskirts of Skipton. The smell of salt water and fish is everywhere. The dingy houses of the small coastal town are crowded together along the cobbled streets. Curious eyes stare at you from shuttered windows and shadowy doorways, but no one calls or approaches you until you near the wharf, when you feel eyes upon your back. Turning to look, you see a young, breathtakingly handsome man standing a few paces behind you. His dark brown hair is soft and clean and hangs almost to his broad shoulders. His frame is wiry and strong, the body of a youthful runner. His face is so beautiful you find it difficult to stop gazing at its strong, perfect features. He smiles at you through his thick, carefully trimmed beard. His dark, intense eyes capture yours instantly and seem to penetrate the layers of magical armor covering, going straight to your heart. Even though you want to look into his deep eyes, you have to control a warm blush when he sees you staring at him. You have never even imagined such an enchanting man, such a captivating face. Allow me to introduce myself, he says, in an informal but offhanded manner, as if he were accustomed to such phrases. My name is Maximilian Troy, Max for short, he adds with a friendly grin. His voice is clear and musical, matching his bold appearance. You hesitate for a moment while Max's laughing eyes wait for you to return the introduction. Recalling Nisla's warning about trusting strangers, you decide to tell him as little as you can. You may call me Lysa, Master Troy, you reply, trying to sound cool. You give him your real name? Were you not listening to your friend? You're supposed to hide your identity. I mean, maybe it's a really common name. I don't know. Like, Max has like a real modern name that's kind of common now. I'm very frustrated with this character. Anyway, You reply, trying to sound cool. Only if you'll call me Max, he responds lightly. But tell me, Lysia, what brings you to Skipton? This dim refuse heap of a town is the last place I'd expect to find someone so young and so beautiful. I can take care of myself, sir, you reply haughtily, ignoring both his question and his flattery. This seems like a strange place to find someone dressed as finely as you are, for that matter. Indeed, the lean young man is attired strangely for such a place. He wears a bright red cloak over his shoulders, draped nearly to the ground behind him. A matching red plush cap sits jauntily on the back of his head. His shirt is of the finest white silk, its ruffled collar open at the neck. Striped black and blue trousers of some gleaming fabric are tucked into his polished boots of soft black leather. Except for a magnificently decorated dagger at his side, the stranger seems unarmed. Max's smile is charming. He stops staring so intently, and you begin to feel at ease with him. I am known as a sorcerer, I'm afraid. One of my teachers was a well-known magician named Ostar, whose powers staggered the imagination. Most of the superstitious sailors and pirates around here remember Ostar's strength and believe that I, too, possess it. Max's mention of magic alerts you, putting you on your guard. Are they correct? You blurt out. Are you magician? Huh. Unfortunately, no, beautiful warrior, he answers with a sigh. I became a simple scholar, a student of languages, medicine, and mathematics. Oster died before I could learn more than a tiny portion of his secrets. But a rumor can work as well as the truth. If these ruffians could see me in my study tutoring some nobleman's son in Latin, they'd probably run me out of town. Let's not tell them, Lysia. Fear works wonders. Max's disarming smile and his modesty relax you, and you laugh lightly. There, that's better, says Max. But you never answered my question. Why is a beautiful young warrior with such splendid armor and weaponry wandering through the roughest streets of Skipton? I've no doubt that you can take care of yourself, but you must admit that you're a curious sight in this seedy place. I'm here to hire a boat, Max. I need to find an experienced sailor who will take me to Pitlick Isle. Instantly, Max's dark eyes widen in surprise. Pitlick Isle is a dangerous place, Lysia. It is said that terrible monsters live there, creatures as large as buildings. Sailors also say that dragons guard the sea and air around the island, so that it is nearly impossible to land a boat there. Now, why are you wanting to travel to such an inhospitable place? Max's concern tempts you to reveal your intentions. Oh, yeah, she, also tells him where she's going. Whatever. But Nisla's ring throbs gently, reminding you of the brownie's warning. Thank you, ring. Thank you. You to look away from this. Oh, there's a little typo here. It's split into two sentences, but it's one sentence. Nisla's ring throbs gently, reminding you of the brownie's warning to look away from the scholar's melting eyes. 2 months ago, I heard a story from a leprechaun named Killigan. You lie with a downcast face. Old Killy said he stowed away on a pirate ship several years ago and heard a story from a castaway. The pirates had rescued from a raft off Pitlick Isle. It seems that this castaway had managed to land on the island and explore the jungles. Somewhere in the interior, he discovered an enormous treasure in the castle of an evil sorcerer named Treg. This sorcerer almost destroyed the castaway, but he managed to escape the island on a small raft. A quick glance shows you that you've captured Max's attention with your false story. The young scholar's face grows very serious and quiet. His dark eyes stare intently into yours. There's not much more to tell, you shrug. When Killy told me the story of such treasure, I decided to see for myself. I'm no stranger to adventure, and the quest seems worth the trouble. If this Treg gets in my way, Avenger will change his mind. You brag, patting the enchanted swords, jewel-encrusted hilt, just giving away all your secrets. Just all of them. Max's serious face is motionless for a long moment. Then, suddenly, he laughs, and his dark curls dance against his scarlet cloak. What's so funny? You demand. I'm laughing at myself, Lysia, and at the coincidence. You won't believe this, but a friend of mine and I are in Skipton for the very same reason. We heard about the sorcerer's treasure hoard, too. Listen, Lysia, he adds in a hushed tone, moving closer to you. We can use an experienced warrior. If all the stories about that cursed island are true, if you want to go with us, I'll talk to Tim about it. He's a thief from Bixby, and a good one, too. And we've been waiting for the right tides to set sail. Today's the day, Lysa. You couldn't have picked a better time. Max's friendliness and courteous manner make you comfortable. You've never been this close to a strange man before, and you feel a warm flush spread through your body. You want more than anything to go with this smiling, beautiful stranger, and to trust him. But Nisla's warning continues to worry you. For an instant, you find yourself wishing that Max would just hold you, and that you stop worrying about everything. That's a leap. Like, has she never met, like, another... Okay. Sorry, I'm very judgmental of Lysa, but she is her own young woman. She can... Whatever. We have a decision to make, chat. If you want to accept Max's offer of help, we'll turn to page 17. Randall, she needs to find romance somewhere in just 150 pages. Very true. Bunkerman, thank God for all the magic items. This clown's gonna need all the help she can get. Plus 1 ring of common sense. Alternately, we can go our own way, and then we'll turn to page 31. We could go our own way. Or we can accept Max's help. What do we want to do? Own way? Alright, Team King's like, nope, not going with Max. Call Me Kramer wants to meet the thief, though. Teos wants to get help. It's all the friends we make along the way. Randall thinks we're going to end up with them anyway. Well, we will bookmark this spot in case we've somehow made a decision that's going to let us not continue the story. Because as we figured out in my last stream, all of us read those adventure, choose your own adventure, pick your path books by, like, putting our fingers and bookmarking every decision tree. Can we betray them? I don't know. We're going to find out. Okay, so we're going to first turn to page 31, see what happens. Something in Max's voice disturbs you. You're almost angry at yourself for wanting to go with him. Everything seems to be happening too fast, too smoothly. Is it just a coincidence that this handsome stranger is planning to go to Treg's Island, you wonder? I'd rather go by myself, you mumble nervously. Max's dark eyes flash for an instant. Do you think we'll try to rob you of the treasure? He asks. It's just strange that you know about the island, too, you reply. Huh. Everyone in Skipton has heard of Treg's wealth. Each month at least one party of adventurers sets out to find it. None have returned. All of those others knew nothing of the map, you think to yourself. You smile at the young scholar and shake your head. No, Max, I want to seek the treasure alone. One person will have a better chance than 3 to slip through Treg's defenses undetected. Well, enough argument. I can see that you've made up your mind, he replies. But if you'll allow one minor suggestion, guard your words around this city of thieves. If you start mentioning treasure, your beautiful neck will be in great danger. Without waiting to see the blush that his words produce, Max turns and strides silently around a corner. His parting words hang thickly in the salty air, and you wonder if you have made your first mistake in this quest. You decide to try to find a ship that can leave quickly for Pitlick Isle, before anyone else learns about your mission. You walk to the docks and begin asking around for a ship to take you to the island. The only vessel for hire is a small, neat sloop called the Wave Queen. Its owner, Captain Jones, tells you that he can take you to Pitlick Isle tomorrow. I've already been hired today, he says. You reach into your purse and dangle the emerald pendant before the sea captain's astonished eyes. This necklace is yours, Captain Jones, if you will cancel your arrangements and take me to the island today. Neat. Bunkerman, a neat sloop with an N. Jones's sharp eyes open widely when he sees the glittering emerald. Wait here, he instructs. The captain disappears below the deck. Within a few minutes, a sturdy young man steps through the hatchway from the captain's cabin. The stranger is a rugged-looking man dressed entirely in soft leather garments. His sunburned face has a boyish charm, with soft brown eyes and a light sprinkling of freckles across his manly nose and cheeks. He is an athletic man, whose body moves down the gangplank with a confident, panther-like grace. Who are you? He asks abruptly. I have business with the captain of this ship, you say coldly. Captain Jones has just told me that you're attempting to interfere with my plans, the stranger charges. That makes your business my business too. I've already hired this boat for the day. You'll simply have to wait your turn. Why don't we let the captain decide, you reply haughtily. Who do you think you are, anyway? My name is Tim, he replies. My partner and I intend to sail from Skipton today on this ship without delay. I suggest that you go back to your mama and papa before someone has to teach you some manners. Stung, you reply. If anyone needs to learn about manners around here, it's you. Your hand moves to the hilt of your father's enchanted sword. Ha! A little warrior. Don't cut yourself with that borrowed sword, girl, the thief chides. We were so excited to meet Tim. Do we like that we've met Tim? I mean, she's not... I get that he's mad. I don't love how he's taking... I love the words he's choosing to express that. So you two have met, calls a laughing voice from behind you. The handsome scholar is standing at the gangplank. What's going on, Max? Tim demands. This child is trying to buy her way aboard the Wave Queen and force us to delay our expedition. Max smiles at you. It seems that the only way you're going to reach Pitlick Isle is to go with us, he says. That is, if you can convince my partner here to share the treasure. Ha, Tim snorts and walks towards you. You have no choice but to win over the hostile thief. Please turn to page 39. TK says, Tim is garbage. Where's the Miller's daughter? I 100% ship Lysa with the Miller's daughter. Oh, 39 is back where our bookmark was. Tim's strong features are expressionless as he stares down into your face. Only his soft brown eyes move, studying everything about you. I hope you like what you see, Tim. Why don't you just relax so that we can both talk more comfortably, you suggest in a friendly voice. You begin to think he's not going to reply when he looks directly into your eyes with a cool gaze. Tell me something, Lysa, if that's your real name, he begins in a calm, serious tone. I am a master thief. I make my living by stealing from people who have stolen from others. Tim's calmness, his quiet authority, and powerful appearance impress you. As a professional thief, he continues, I've learned to trust no one. Max is a business partner. I met him when I arrived in Skipton 2 weeks ago. He has a way with people, as I think you know. You blush, thinking about the charming young scholar. Yes, Tim says grimly. I see you do know about his power to make people, especially women, like him. At any rate, that power might be useful to me. I don't mind sharing my treasure with him, but 1/3 of it is more than I'm willing to give you to a fresh-faced girl wearing a fine but unused suit of armor, and that beautiful sword should be returned to its rightful owner before you get hurt with it. The young thief's insult infuriates you. You draw Avenger's gleaming blade with practiced skill. Very good reflexes, Tim says coolly, without changing his expression. I was wondering if you knew how to draw such a long sword. Now let's see if you know how to use it. The thief draws his own sword. A small crowd of dock workers gather around you. You realize that you are being tested by the thief and that you must demonstrate your ability with the magnificent weapon. Lifting the small enchanted shield, you crouch in the familiar spider stance and hold Avenger in front of you. Tim smiles and starts towards you with smooth, cat-like movements. You have no shield, you exclaim. Why should I need one? He retorts. You'll never get that close. The taunt makes you furious, and you lunge toward the insolent man. As you thrust, Tim's muscular body leaps in the air so quickly that all you see is a blur. The flat blade of his sword whacks you soundly on the seat of your armor. The crowd laughs loudly as you rub a hand quickly over your stinging rump. Relax, you tell yourself. Don't be angry, stay cool, wait for the right moment. You manage to control your fury and begin to think about your movements. You start circling around the thief, who turns smoothly and watches every move you make. His amused smile never fades as he allows you to get closer. I'm also going to show you a picture of this fight. Beep, beep, beep. A sudden blur of motion from the thief causes you to spin around just in time to avoid another embarrassing slap from behind. Not again, thief, you shout. Then it dawns on you that Tim always dodges around you on the left side away from your sword. In a swift movement, you thrust to the right with your sword, throw your shield on the ground at the same time. Just as you planned, Tim leaps into the air, only to land on the wobbly shield. He loses his balance. The agile thief falls forward, catching himself with his hands. For an instant, Tim's taut, leather-clad buttocks are the most prominent part of his anatomy. With a mighty swing, you hit the flat side of Avenger, a stinging slap against the tightly clad hips. Tim's athletic body somersaults forward. He lies flat on his back, staring cross-eyed at the gleaming point of the enchanted sword. The hoots and jeers of the crowd are deafening. Tim's tanned features blush a deep crimson when he realizes what has happened. Finished? You ask, with mock sweetness. Tim's eyes narrow. For now, he growls. With a polished flourish, you swing the intelligent sword in a wide arc, allowing it to thrust itself into the waiting scabbard. Reaching out with your gloved hands, you offer to help Tim to his feet, but the angry thief brushes your hand away, leaps up by himself. He pushes through the taunting crowd and disappears among them. You say nothing, because just as the young thief's hand touched yours, the ring of protection began to throb forcefully, and is now almost too hot to wear. You stand in fearful, confused silence as the enchanted ring throbs its ominous warning of an evil presence. That was a fine display of swordsmanship, Lysa. Max's laughing voice cuts in... Oh, I forgot to use my smarmy voice. That was a fine display of swordsmanship, Lysa. Max's laughing voice cuts into your thoughts. He is standing quite near you. You've made an enemy of my young friend, though. He won't forget this humiliation for quite a while. Well, he asked for it, you exclaim angrily. We just swapped slaps on the backside, and he started it. If he's such a hothead, I'm not sure I want him for a business partner. The scholar's handsome face darkens briefly. He'll get over it, and so will you. I've hired a sloop to take us to the island. We can leave immediately. Why don't you buy some food for us, and while I find Tim and try to soothe his injured pride. You are torn between trusting Max's judgment and heeding the warning of the ring. You must choose quickly either to go with the two men or to back out of the partnership. Who thinks this book is going to let us back out of the partnership? We keep trying. I mean, we tried once, but we wanted it real bad. So we can decide to risk being partners with Max and Tim despite the ring's warning, or we can try to find our own way to Pitlick Isle. Call Me Kramer is saying the CR is too high for the final fight to do it solo. Bunker Man says Max is definitely the evil illusion sorcerer. But some folks are curious to see what happens if we try to ditch them, so we'll make an attempt. Oh, let me bookmark it so it's easy to get back if we need to. Oops. Everything has happened so quickly. Can it be wise to go into a partnership with two men you've just met? Especially when you can't tell Max about the ring and its warning after the fight with Tim. He would only demand to know more, which might expose your true identity and your mission. I'm sorry, Max, but I've made up my mind, you say firmly. This is something I must do alone. Let's just say that I find it difficult to trust strangers. A flash of anger sweeps Max's handsome face, but only for an instant. All right, he says coldly. Have it your way. Just be careful about the boat you hire. Thank you, Max. I really appreciate your help. If things weren't so confused in my mind, I'd like to go with you. Please believe me. Well, that's about it, isn't it? Max suggests. Max shrugs. Perhaps we'll see each other again under other pleasant circumstances. I hope so. I really do, you reply earnestly. Goodbye, Lysa. Take care of yourself. Gazing after the tall, lithe figure walking away from you, you feel a sudden loss. You've never been so attracted to a man before, and you have to fight an impulse to change your mind and run after him. I really hate Max. I don't like Max. Tim, also very rude. You leave the main pier and wander along the waterfront towards a smaller dock on the fringe of Skipton. The wharf is crowded with ships of all sizes, sloops, schooners, and frigates. At the end of the first long pier, a small schooner with two masts is moored to the dock. The name Merwolf is painted in faded gold letters on a barnacle-covered hull. No one is in sight. "Hello," you shout. "Is anyone aboard?" A clattering sound from below the filthy deck answers your cry. A hatch slams open, and a man with a fierce scowl steps onto the deck. "What do you want?" he growls. "It's too early in the day to be yelling and caterwauling loud enough to wake the dead." The surly man's unkempt beard is a thick mass of matted black curls. A single golden earring dangles amid the oily hair. "I want to hire your ship," you state. The man's beady eyes change from suspicion to pleasure. "When you say so, milady, you're talking to Captain Billy Horn, master of this fine vessel," he exclaims with an exaggerated bow. "Come aboard and let's do some business." Inside the dim, smoky cabin, the heavy stench of sweat mingles with odors of stale rum and tobacco. Empty bottles and tankards are scattered around the room. Horn motions for you to sit in the only chair. "No, thank you, Captain," you reply. "This will only take a few minutes. I want to hire the Merwolf to take me to Pitlick Isle." "Ah, another one seeking the sorcerer's gold. Them's dangerous waters, milady. It'll cost you plenty to risk my ship off that devilish island." Without a word, you pull the emerald pendant from your purse and dangle it in the murky light. Horn's bloodshot eyes stare greedily at the beautiful jewel. His hand grabs for the necklace, but you jerk it away from his grasp and stand defiantly before the hulking man, your hand on Avenger's hilt. "After we get to Pitlick Isle, Captain." "You're a shrewd one, milady. Just when do you want to sail to that island of demons?" "Right away," you respond quickly. Horn squints at your determined stance and then grins. "Come on, then. I'll show you where you can rest." "No, Captain," you refuse, not wanting to be trapped in a filthy cabin. "I'll take my chances on the deck." As soon as you reach the deck, Horn growls a series of unfamiliar commands in a loud voice. Soon, a dozen stumbling, cursing sailors begin readying the vessel for its voyage. The dirty schooner is a surprisingly fast ship. It knifes through the waves of the open sea with the ease of a racing boat. But as fast as the ship sails, it still takes 8 hours for you to near the island. Your first glimpse of Pitlick Isle is breathtaking. The moon is rising above it to shine on the white sands between the surf and the jungle. A crashing roar from the ocean draws your eyes to the line of breakers dashing against the rugged reef, which protects the lagoon and the beach. As you draw near to the island, the ring of protection throbs more intensely, a compass pointing the way to evil. A loud command from Captain Horn brings the sails down and the anchors rattling on its chains into the dark water off the barrier reef. Another order lowers a small skiff over the side of the ship. The burly sea captain approaches you. "This be the cursed island you seek, milady," he announces ominously. "My man will row you through the reef to the beach, and then you'll be on your own. But first, there's a little matter of payment." Sensing treachery, you know that once Horn has his hand in the emerald, he will not keep his word. "I'll give the necklace to the sailor when he leaves me on the beach, Captain," you state firmly. Horn grins evilly. "You ain't got a choice, milady. Give me the bauble now." The big man reaches for your arm. You twist away from his huge hand and whip Avenger from its scabbard. The glowing sword blade shines in the night air. "Back off, Horn," you command. The captain steps away and watches you while you swing your body over the rail, climb down the rope ladder to the waiting skiff. "Row," you command the seaman. "Nar, I ain't going to that cursed place," the man snarls. "I said row." You point Avenger at the man's throat. Suddenly, he begins to pull at the oars. You feel the waves move the small boat towards the crashing surf of the reef. Suddenly, the sailor drops the oars and dives over the side. His head bobs up in the black sea, and he begins to swim with long strokes toward the ship. You are alone in the tiny craft, headed straight for the cruel rocks of the reef. Once, twice, 3 times the skiff surges forward on a powerful wave. Then the fragile boat crashes against the sharp rocks of the reef, throwing you into the warm water and foam of the surf. As you grab desperately for the hull of the shattered skiff, a large piece of it crashes against your head. You feel a brief but terrible pain. The end. Dun dun dun. Randall says, "Impressive. 4 pages written on a dead end here. Every wrong choice should get a strong finishing story like this. Too many books like this just give you a paragraph." That's true. Oh, well, call me Kramer. Thanks for joining us for story time. I hope you have some nice time with company tomorrow. That sounds fun. Yeah, I think we just died. I think, I mean, we're at the very least we're unconscious. Doug in Texas, we did last a little longer than the first book. That one we ended real fast. I'm kind of tempted to because like we've like I'm debating. Do we want to cheat now and keep reading this book? Or do we want me to save the spot and I can do another, we can pick this up another time and I could read you all some from the, maybe like a chapter from the book I'm reading. Yeah. Everyone wants to cheat. Want to keep going with this story. Have a good evening, Kramer. Okay, everyone's saying cheat. Okay, we're gonna risk being partners. We're gonna turn to page 51. Let me have some water. Hydrate. Hydrating is important. Okay. You look at Max's bright smile. It reassures you that he will support you if necessary against him or whatever evil forces might confront you. The omen of the ring has made you uncomfortable with Tim, but you're confident that you will be able to handle the young thief, especially with Max by your side. You decide to go with the two men. Max's dark curls and smooth complexion frame his laughing eyes and sensitive mouth. If anyone asked you to describe your idea of a perfectly beautiful man, you would have given him Max's face. He has made you feel so much at ease that it is difficult to believe that you only met him a few hours ago. Gross. Thank you for inviting me, Max. You've been so very kind to me, and I want to repay you. Max's dark eyes flash. His eyes do a lot of flashing. He places his smooth palms against your cheeks. For a moment you think he's going to kiss you, and he only looks at you with a strange soft glow in his beautiful eyes. Just let me be close to you, Lysa, he whispers. I want to be more than a friend to you. Your heart pounds. Gross. First of all, gross. Your heart pounds as if it will burst through your enchanted armor. No man has ever touched you like this before. Max rubs your cheek softly with a finger. I know, he says softly. I feel it too. You and I have a lot to talk about, Lysa, but not now. We need that food, remember? Max turns quickly and vanishes around a corner. Your thoughts in confusion, you start to search for the market. See, I don't like Max, because he basically was like, I don't know, I think he's using magic to manipulate her, and he basically just told her to go get him a sandwich. In less than an hour, you meet the two young men on the pier. Your knapsack is filled with smoked meats, dried fruit, and hard bread. A sandwich. Tim does not say a single word to you and avoids looking in your eyes. Max presses a finger to his smiling lips in a silent warning to drop the subject. The Wave Queen is a small two-masted vessel. The hull has been freshly painted. The lines are all neatly coiled, ready to haul the clean white sails up into the warm sea air. Captain Ben Jones welcomes you aboard. He is a lean, tanned man dressed in spotless blue trousers and leggings. His light blue silk shirt billows in the gentle breeze as he shows you to his small, neat cabin. You can stay here in my quarters while we sail, my lady, the captain tells you. The voyage will take around 8 hours and may tire you. It will be dark before we land on that dangerous beach, and you'll need to be fully rested. You start to protest, but you remember your sleepless night and thank the captain for his kindness. As soon as the men leave the tiny cabin, you shut and bar the door. In the privacy of the captain's quarters, you remove all of Nisla's enchanted armor. You needed help getting that on. Okay. It's a choice. I mean, you're not... At some point, it's gotta happen. Stripping to your soft leather clothes, you listen at the door to make sure no one is eavesdropping, and then take Garland's map from the knapsack. As you spread the parchment on the table, the ring of protection on your finger throbs its warning signal. For a long while, you study the hand-drawn map, but soon the lines of the map begin to blur together as your tired eyes strain to follow the faded trails to the place marked Treg. With a sigh, you roll the map and stash it in the bottom of your pack. You lie on top of the neatly made little cot without undressing further. Just before you drift to sleep, you think about the two men who've become your partners. Tim's unfriendliness bothers you, especially after feeling the magical warning from Nisla's ring of protection. Your worry soon lessens as your thoughts turn to Max's enchanting beauty and his unsettling words. "I want to be more than a friend to you," he had said. His lips are near to yours in your dream when sleep finally comes. The distant clanging of a ship's bell slowly rouses you from your exhausted slumber. The cabin is dark, except for a ghostly silver light seeping through a small porthole above your head. A persistent, painful throbbing from your finger causes you to glance at the ring. You are alarmed to see that the tiny red jewels are glowing brightly. The ring has become almost too hot to wear. Bounding up from the bunk, you peer outside the porthole only to see an endless expanse of moonlit ocean. Hurriedly, you slip the enchanted armor over your light leather clothes and buckle Avenger to your waist. Leaving your helmet and shield behind you, you unbolt the door, scramble quickly up the short stairs to the deck. The first person you see is Max. The scholar's slender figure is bent over the rail. He is gazing out to the sea on the opposite side of the sloop. "Max!" you call. "Is everything all right?" The scholar turns toward you quickly. In the bright moonlight, you see the flash of his teeth as he smiles. Another flash. "Sure," he replies. "Come over here if you want to see something really beautiful." You join Max at the rail and follow his gaze over the ocean. "Treg's Island," he whispers. The moon hangs like a magic lantern over the dark outline of Pitlick Isle off the bow of the Wave Queen. In its eerie light, you can make out the white beach beyond the calm lagoon. A thrill rushes over you as you scan the moonlit dark shapes of the jungle and mountains outlined against the starry sky. Max is really creepy. And there's this picture that I'm going to show you in a second, which creeps me out even more. "It's the most enchanting thing I've ever seen," you murmur in a hushed tone. "It seems so peaceful, as if it were the end of the world." "Interesting choice. Sure." "That's exactly what it has been for countless adventurers, Lysa," says Max solemnly. His features glow in the ghostly light like a perfectly sculpted marble statue. He steps to your side and puts his arm around you. His touch is so warm, so gentle, that you relax against his strong, slender body resting your head on his shoulder. "You're a beautiful, exciting woman," Max whispers into your hair. His words fill your thoughts, caressing you like the tropical breeze blowing softly on your skin. You've never felt this way before. This handsome man is arousing new feelings in you, which are both stimulating and relaxing. You want to remain in his gentle arms, allowing the beauty of this romantic night to envelop your senses. I hate all of this. So here's this picture. And so am I remembering correctly that Lysa is 16 or 17? Or she's just turned 18. It's been 3 years. Yeah, age differences are fine, but it makes me uncomfortable when it's a very, very young woman. Because age differences are bigger when you're younger. Yeah, everything about this is extremely creepy. "Where did you come from, Lysa? How could such a lovely woman become a practiced warrior? I find myself drawn to you, wanting to know everything about you, to be closer to you." Max's words are so caring that your eyes fill with tears. Blech. For the first time since Garland left, you feel the need to confide in someone. Randall, I think she was 15 in the flashback because she said in a year she would be 16. So I think TK's right. And, okay, she's 18, 19. She's around that age. And he's like a million. "I have a quest, Max," you whisper. We don't even get to decide whether we're confiding in him. Oh, this book is making me so mad. Okay. "I have a quest, Max," you whisper, as a few warm tears run down your cool cheeks. Max's darkly beautiful eyes reflect the silver moonlight and glisten brightly as they penetrate your soul. "Many years ago." Am I intruding? Tim's husky voice interrupts you. Max grunts in anger. For an instant, the shadows of night deepen the lines in his contorted face, and he looks like a snarling animal. The change is so great that you pull away from him. Tim approaches you. His stocky figure is outlined against the sky as he looms over you. So this is how you convinced Max to take you. I should have known he couldn't resist a pretty face. Tell me, partner, are you sharing your 1/3 with him? Mind your own business, Tim, Max hisses in a coarse whisper. This is my business, Max. I don't care how you handle your personal life or your women, but this new friend of yours is costing me more than wounded pride. We started this project as equal partners, and I mean to protect my interests. For all I know, you and she planned this from the start. After all, 2/3 is a lot more than half. Sorry, I am quietly reading the chat. Yeah, TK, he literally sounds like he's grooming her. So that's how I feel too. And I'm reading this and it's making me like a little bit uncomfortable, but I'm like, I want to see how this ends. Like, are we madder if Max is just Max and they like get married or something at the end, or are we madder if he turns out to be an evil sorcerer? Yeah, my cat Bean also hates this. I don't know if you can hear her complaints. Dustin, I hate this, but I'm kind of invested in how angry I am. Doug in Texas, this book is coming off a bit creepier than the last one. Yeah, this is by a different author. I interviewed the previous author, and she had said that when she was approached to write a HeartQuest book, her first reaction was, oh, it has to be like romance and adventure for girls? Like, that's kind of gross. But she really wanted the writing gig, and so she found a way to do it that she felt like made the heroine very strong and represented struggles that young girls go through. And I mean, I guess this is representing some stuff that young girls go through, but in a very different way that it feels icky. TK says, I don't like that Tim is sexist and there's a possibility he's being set up to be the real love interest when Max falls through, right? Like, it kind of feels like with the premise of these books, there's going to be a love interest at the end, but I would really love if Lysa learns that she don't need no man, and that both of them suck. Alright, I need to find my place. Max's eyes flash with rage, but only for a few seconds. Then his expression softens and he extends his hand toward Tim. Oh, the other thing I don't like is, I mean, I guess we got to do that fight, but a lot of this, now that Max and Tim are involved, feel like it's very just Max and Tim. There doesn't feel like as much, I mean, we don't have agency because we made a bunch of decisions that didn't matter. We have to be with Max and Tim. But also the character, she is just traveling right now. There's more of a focus on the traveling. But she just seems more passive than the other characters so far. Whereas in Secret Sorceress, which we all really enjoyed, Miali is like the only person who can get shit done. Miali's a badass. TK says, I don't love flashes of anger in the love interest. Gross. Very much agree. Like, that should just be, like, Lysa, you can do better than that. Doug says, I'd give the last one to my daughter to read. Pass on this one, it's pretty cringe. Yeah, this is definitely cringier. I understand your concern, Tim, but I won't apologize for the change in our plans. We needed another partner to help face whatever dangers await us on that island, and now we have one. Let's shake hands and put this unpleasantness behind us. Tim stares at Max's hand for a long moment, then grasps it firmly. I'm sorry I lost my temper, Max. Max, only oh no, wait, sorry. I got ahead of myself. I'm sorry I lost my temper, Max. I just seem to be getting more irritable as we near that cursed island, and I apologize to you too, Lysa, he adds stiffly, but without offering his hand. Oh, okay, I'm mad again. The young thief's face hints at some charming boyish embarrassment lurking beneath the sullen exterior. You wish that your dealings with Tim were more friendly. I also don't like that they're, like, trying to make excuses for Tim being a jerk. Like, oh, he was just embarrassed and shy. Like, isn't it, like, kind of cute that he's, like, actually, like, a humongous jerk? All right, this is just gonna be me ranting. I don't know if we're it's really slowing down reading because I'm stopping after every second to be upset. Okay. Let's just forget it, Tim, you say softly. I want to do my share of the work. As far as I'm concerned, this is an equal partnership. I'm not plotting with Max against you. The athletic thief's face remains serious, but his eyes study yours carefully. There it is. There it is. Pitlick Isle, calls a voice from the deck. Captain Jones points off the bow toward the reef. That channel's big enough for a small boat. We don't have a map of the island, but I do know the sea around here. Following his pointing finger, you see a break in the white surf crashing against the jagged reef. A black shadow surrounded by swirls of white foam marks the channel passing through the coral reef. You remember seeing the reef represented on the map by crudely drawn waves. If the map is correct, the first streams of the river delta are only a few hundred yards east of the beach of the lagoon beyond the reef. There are paths leading you through the jungle not more than a mile from where you will land. I'm going below for my gear, you tell the men, leaving them at the rail. By the time you rejoin the others, the sloop is anchored near the reef, and a small skiff has been lowered into the choppy sea. Watching Max and Tim load into the boat, you realize that you were about to reveal your identity to the handsome scholar despite Niala's warnings. Why was I going to tell him everything? You wonder. Then you recall his warm touch and wonderful words and wish that Tim had not interrupted you. The small skiff cuts silently through the smooth, dark water of the sheltered lagoon. Tim's strong pull on the oars moves you quickly through the choppy waves, while Max's skillful hand on the tiller guides the tiny craft to the narrow coral inlet. From the bow of the boat, you see the white sand of the beach gleaming in the moonlight. The gentle surf of ebb tide rolls softly onto the beach, lightly slapping the sand. Your companions have no trouble maneuvering the little boat close to the shore. Get ready, Lysa, Max calls in a hushed voice. You stand with the rope in your hand, waiting for the right moment to jump. A gentle wave lifts the boat and moves it forward a few feet. Now, Max prompts, leaping into the warm surf. You splash in the water up to your thighs towards the beach, pulling the skiff behind you. Tim pulls the oars inside the boat and leaps into the surf to join you on the rope. His shoulder brushes your arm, and you can feel the firm muscles rippling under his tight, thin leather shirt. The young thief's boyish face is filled with excitement in the silver light. There's a look you've never seen before in Tim's eyes, and it makes you feel good to be sharing the simple task of pulling the rope with him. Excuse me, I need some water. Yes, let's wash away those words. Wash away those words. Tim's surge of strength on the rope makes you move quickly to keep up with him. Your feet begin to slip in the sand. Suddenly, you slip and tumble down flat on the beach. Tim trips over your legs and falls on his back next to you. His head is only inches from yours. He grins a little boy's smile that you find irresistible. Ugh. And you both begin to laugh uncontrollably, releasing the tensions between you. Tim's strong body presses against your side. His strong arms hug you briefly. His boyish charm makes you comfortably warm, unlike the confused emotions surrounded by Max's intense tensions. This book is definitely more focused on the romance. Randall Wright is dude, personal space. How cozy. Max's sharp voice cuts like a knife. Your laughter dies quickly. Tim's face stiffens. He bounds to his feet without offering to help you get up and immediately begins to unload the boat. Max's strong hand grips yours a little roughly as he pulls you to your feet. His eyes glare at you with a strange new expression that frightens you. You shouldn't be frightened by your love interest. That's just advice for everybody. This is not a time for playing in the sand, Lysa, he says sternly. We're in a dangerous place, and we can't afford to relax our guard. Hate that he's telling her what to do. The man's sudden shift in mood surprises you so much that you are speechless with a growing anger. Then Max notices your troubled expression, and he smiles sheepishly. I'm sorry, Lysa. That was a bit heavy-handed of me. I'm only concerned for your safety. Now, let's get our stuff together and find a place to rest until daylight. He squeezes your arm in a familiar way and then joins Tim at the boat. Don't touch her. Within minutes, all your belongings are piled up on the beach, away from the waves. As you sort through things, Max walks to the edge of the jungle to hunt for firewood. Tim, his youthful face serious, briefly studies the night sky and then turns to you. It's 4 hours until dawn. Try to get some rest, Lysa. Max and I can keep watch. He suggests softly. I can stand guard too, you protest. This is an equal partnership, remember? I'm not saying you're weaker than we are, Tim snaps, but we need your fighting reflexes in good shape. You can take your turn on watch tomorrow night. Let's just wait and see, you suggest coldly. I may not get sleepy. Tim shrugs and walks toward the trees to help Max gather firewood. You turn your head toward the beach to the east, where the river delta is drawn on Garland's map. Suddenly you realize that it will be difficult for you to use the map without telling your companions about it. Even if you manage to sneak away to look at it now and then, what will you do when your partners want to go a different way? You must decide whether to share the secrets of the map with Max and Tim or to hide them from your companions. All right, so decision time. Do we want to tell Max and Tim about the map, and then we'll turn to page 62, or do we decide we can't trust them and we want to keep the map secret? We can't trust them, but we're going to fall in love with them, even though they both suck. And then turn to page 48. What do we want to do? Oh, Randall Wright has a theory. New theory. Tim knows Max is a bad guy and doesn't know how to call him out. He just inserts himself awkwardly when he thinks Max is about to go too far. I don't know. They're both creepy. Bunker Man says keep secrets. What do the rest of you want to do? And that's also like if it will let us keep secrets. I feel like Secret Sorceress, I went into it thinking it would be more romancy than it was. It had a little bit of romance. There was just the one love interest, but he was really supportive the whole way. It was when we revealed that we were a sorceress and that we had powers. Very, like, embraced that. Very validating in everything he said. But really, it was all about the adventure and finding this cave. This seems like we're going on a quest, but so far is very focused on the romance. Randall says no clue what to do. You get nothing from hiding the map, but the ring thinks the map is dangerous. TK says both Max and Tim are untrustworthy, but it's hard to tell what the author wants. And that makes this less fun reading experience when it feels like it's about what the author wants and we have to pick the right things versus just kind of like exploring a story. Which reminds me a bit of just adventure design in general. Let's see if it'll let us keep secrets, huh? I'm going to put the bookmark in. And we're going to go to 48. I'm going to guess that we're going to get to a point where they want to go a different way, and then we have to tell them about the map anyway. You look at the two men while they gather firewood, and soon you realize that you are too uncertain about who and what they are to risk showing the map to them. But I do need to look at it, you think. So taking your cloak from the pack, you drape it like a tent over you as you kneel in the sand and spread the parchment out. As you pull the gauntlet from your hand, the magic glow of the ring of protection is bright enough to let you study the faded ancient map. Once again, your pulse quickens as you see the single word, Treg, in Garland's bold scrawl. When you've finished memorizing the details, you roll the parchment and cover the ring with your glove. Standing quickly, you spread the cloak to make yourself a bed in the sand and pull your pack on top of it for a pillow. You lie down on the cloak, slipping the map into the pack as you adjust it to fit your hand. Within minutes, the steady roar of the surf lulls your tired body into an exhausted sleep. Told you not to trust her, Tim's angry voice wakes you abruptly. Still dazed from your nap, you stare at the two men facing each other across the campfire. Max's dark face glowers with rage, while Tim shakes his fist at the scholar. You start to ask them why they're fighting, but stop when you see what Tim is holding in his other hand. It's your map! The thief has stolen the map from your pack while you slept. You leap to your feet and draw Avenger with one smooth motion. The two men whirl around to face you. Tim's hand reflexively moves to his sword hilt. Stop, thief! You command flatly. There's definitely a typo in this sentence. This will not play like our little session in Skipton. You'll feel the edge of my blade this time. Tim's hand drops to his side. You have something of mine in your hand. I want it back, you demand with quiet authority. You can have it, traitor. I don't want anything from you. For all I know, you could be Treg himself, wearing a clever disguise. The irate thief flings the map to the sand at your feet. Let her explain, Max intercedes in a calm voice. She might have a good reason for hiding the map. How did you know about it? You ask him. He didn't, Tim snarls. I saw you looking at something under that cloak and decided to see what it was, and all this time I thought you were so innocent. I was looking at the map, trying to decide whether or not to trust you with it, you explain. You sheathe the venture and extend your hand to Tim. I apologize, Tim. I understand why you're suspicious of me, but it was wrong of you to steal my map. Forgive and forget? The young thief hesitates, looking at your hand. Go on, Max urges. Take her hand, and then let's look at the map. Tim grasps your gloved hand briefly, muttering an embarrassed apology. You kneel in the sand by the fire and unroll the ancient parchment. Lame. Oh, actually, I don't like that I used that word. I'm trying really hard to get rid of, like, ableist terms that are just kind of, like, ingrained in my vocabulary. That's one of them. What's something I can say instead? Uncool. Real uncool that that was, like, a meaningless choice. Where on earth did you get that map? Max asks in amazement. I'd rather not say, you reply. Ah, a mystery, Max exclaims, the curious glint in his eyes. It's not a joking matter, Tim says seriously. Maps like that one can be used to mislead as well as lead. We might follow those paths right into some kind of trap. Lysa, you have to tell us who made that map. The thief's insistence shocks you. His powerful figure towers above you as you kneel in the sand. Hold it, Tim, Max says quickly. I doubt if she even knows who made this map. Look how old and faded it is. These lines must have been drawn many years before her birth. Max's defense seems to satisfy Tim. It makes you admire and respect the wise young scholar. He smiles tenderly at you, and a pleasant melting sensation runs through you. You have to look down at the map to control your sudden excitement. Blurg, like you're on this quest to find your brother, who you thought was maybe dead. And I feel like she hasn't thought about her brother, like, at all. TK, can our little fighter grow a bit of a backbone, please? Agree. Okay. Tim drops to his knees beside you and leans close to the parchment. Well, if we're going to use the map, let's see what it says. He studies it briefly, then points at a spot on the map. We must be right here, he says positively. We could probably avoid a lot of travel through thick swamps by taking one of these trails, if they're still there, and if this map isn't a trap. The thief frowns suddenly. Some of the trails twist and turn so much that I doubt if we can follow them really well without a compass. I don't suppose you conveniently have a compass to go with the map, Lysa, he suggests sarcastically. Not exactly, you reply, but this might work. You remove your armored gauntlet and reveal the Ring of Protection's glowing aura. It has become even brighter and warmer than it was on the ship. What's that? Max asks curiously. Come on, magician, exclaims Tim. Surely you recognize an enchanted ring when you see one. Unless I'm mistaken, that's an elven ring of protection. Am I right, Lysa? Yes, but how did you know? Thieves run across a lot of strange items in their profession, Tim says with a sly smile. That's a nice toy, but how do you think it'll help us? You explain that the glow increased as you approach the island, and suggest that it will become even brighter as you near the tower. Tim looks at Max and they both smile. Thinking they are ridiculing you, you feel your excitement turn to anger. What's so funny? You demand. Max pats your shoulder. We're enjoying your innocence, Lysa. Rings like that work to protect their wearer. Whenever the ring glows brighter, it means that evil power is being directed toward you. Distance has nothing to do with it. It's the strength of the evil force that makes the glow change. The evil source could be right beside you, or across an ocean. So it only tells me when I'm being attacked by an evil power? You remember the ring's glow after your fight with Tim. That's true, Max replies. Now that we know about your ring, why don't you wear it outside your glove? It'll work just as well, and you'll be able to see it better. And we'll be able to see it too, if you need our help, Tim adds. You're disappointed to learn that you cannot use the ring as a compass, but glad to discover how it works. You slip your gauntlet on your hand and slide on the ring, which changes to fit your armored finger. It's soft. Throbbing glow is constant. I suggest we try to find this first trail, Max says, returning to the map. Or we could follow the streams of the delta back to the river's source. Tim snorts in disagreement. I just don't trust this map, he says gruffly. We don't know where it came from or who drew it. As far as I'm concerned, we ought to ignore it completely and find our own way into the interior. Lysa, Tim and I obviously disagree which way to go, says Max. What do you think? Should we follow the trails or the streams, or should we ignore the map and start exploring the jungle? The scholar's question fills you with doubts. Nisla has already warned you that the map might be a trap, and you wonder what was Garland's decision 3 years ago. We have a decision. In fact, we have a 3-pronged decision. If we want to take Tim's advice and ignore the map, we'll turn to page 72. If you think the trail marked on the map might lead you to the sorcerer, turn to page 80. If you decide the streams are the best way to Trog's stronghold, turn to page 79. Doug in Texas says, it feels like if you mapped out all the decisions in this book, there would be a series of loops taking you back to a linear story. That's kind of how I am feeling too. Whereas I feel like Secret Sorceress, we had some choices about going to like caverns or going along the river, and I kind of feel like those maybe went off in like different directions and then they came back together, or maybe some ended in dead ends. But this seems like more of an open question. Like I can't guess what would be like the wrong choice. It doesn't feel like the author is trying to make me choose one. Doug votes for stream. Ooh, Randall Wright says they're going to map it and post a diagram on Twitter tomorrow. Tag me in that when you post it, and I'll share it so that everyone can find it. Dustin also votes for damp shoes. All right, we're going to try to stream. This feels like an important point, so I'm going to bookmark it. 79. Treg. The single word in Garland's handwriting is the only thing on the old map which means anything to you. It's scrawled at the beginning of the river that eventually forms the delta as it flows into the ocean. You decide that the most direct way to follow your brother's 3-year-old trail is through the delta. Since we should be looking for a way to the river's source, the most logical thing to do is to follow the river upstream. I vote for the delta, you tell your two partners. I couldn't have said it better myself, Max says with a pleasant smile. Well, it makes better sense than using that map, Tim admits. I'm ready if you are. And we turn to page 84. Within a few minutes, you've reached the first stream of the delta. It is a sparkling rivulet of crystal clear water cutting through the beach and flowing into the sea. The banks of the small stream are completely overgrown with the thickest vegetation you've seen on the island. How do we get through that, you ask, discouraged. We don't, Tim replies confidently. Look at the stream bed. It's nothing but rocks and coarse sand. The water's only ankle deep. Until this river gets deeper and rougher, we've got a perfect, clear path through the jungle, all the way to Treg's front door. Tim's suggestion is so good that you hug his powerful arm and kiss him lightly on the cheek. Blurg. It is only a happy, impulsive kiss, just as you might have given Garland. Max and Tim, however, both stiffen. Tim's face reddens, and he looks away from your laughing eyes. Max glares at you so fiercely that for an instant you feel threatened. How is that not like a huge... Ugh. Sorry. And this is making me so angry. You realize that you have become something more than a partner to both men. The experience is so new that you can only try to joke about it. Max, do you feel left out? Here's one for you too. You kiss him playfully on the cheek, just as you did Tim. Instead of relaxing the tense situation, your light-hearted pecks make both men even more tense. What's the matter with you two? You challenge. Can't you just relax and be friendly? Quit taking yourself so seriously. Tim's face gets even redder. Then he grins sheepishly and turns away, shaking his head at the scolding. Max's expression becomes blank. Come on, you urge. Let's see how far this watery path will take us. Without waiting for an answer, you splash into the shallow stream and start wading. Tim and Max follow, and the three of you are being swallowed by the thick jungle. With every step, the forest gets wilder, thicker. The sounds of countless jungle creatures, large and small, dangerous and harmless, surround you. The rivulet seems soon rejoins other streams, which are split to form the delta. As the terrain starts to get hilly, the water becomes swifter and deeper. Finally, at the last junction of the major tributaries, where only one river leads upstream, the rapids are so powerful that you must leave the swift, hip-high current. You signal to the others to follow you to the bank. There you can rest, look at the map, decide what to do next. When you step onto the large overhanging rock, the first thing you see is a trail. Then you realize it's a well-used trail, and it follows the river into the foothills. You are already excitedly studying the map when Max and Tim join you on the rock. Turn to page 91. TK, I hate both of them. I pray for the miller's daughter to romance us. Randall Wright says, I hope they don't have a bet going on. Doesn't it kind of feel like that? Like, this whole situation is very toxic, and the main character's obliviousness to that makes me uncomfortable. Not because it's not necessarily realistic. I feel like there are people who find themselves in situations like that. I mean, I've certainly been young and inexperienced and found myself in weird situations. But this is a book meant for young girls to read to get into D&D. And so I feel like we don't necessarily need someone realistic. We need someone who's more of a role model. But I've turned to page 91, so I shall read on. Look at the map, you exclaim. This is the main trail leading to Treg's stronghold. All the paths shown on the map converge where the river becomes one stream, just above the delta. Then let's follow the trail. It's certainly the easiest way to go, Max suggests. But whenever there's only one trail, says Tim, scowling, there's more likely to be a trap. Let's scout this trail for a while just to see what the terrain is like, you suggest. We'll go one at a time, spaced far apart. I'll take the lead. No, Lysa, Tim replies quickly. I'll lead. I'm a professional thief, and I can recognize a trap a lot sooner than either of you. The courageous thief takes the path and is soon several hundred feet away. You glance at Max and set off after Tim. The scholar follows. The path follows the ground as it rises higher and higher above the river, where white water cuts into the plateau. Soon you are walking along the edge of a steep cliff, looking down into a shallow river. After walking for an hour, you suddenly come upon Tim sitting on a pinnacle of rock. He has tied his gleaming rope around a tree trunk. What's the matter, you ask? I think it's time to leave the trail and stay on the riverbank, says Tim. We're too close to Treg's castle to take any more chances. Wait until I get to the bottom, Lysa. Then you and Max follow me. Tim's voice is compelling. You feel that you will be safe if you follow his instructions. You watch him descend the cliff and wait for his signal. When he calls, you grab the thin cord and let yourself over the edge. The rope's fibers cling to your armored hands, so even if you relaxed your hold, you could not fall. You reach the rocky bank of the river just as you reach the end of the slender cord. It's a good thing this cliff wasn't much higher, you say, gesturing to the rope's end. Oh, the rope is never too short, the thief replies mysteriously. Max descends the rope and, on reaching the bottom, demands angrily, I want to know why we left the trail. I didn't see any danger. Tim offers Max the same cool explanation he gave you, but Max protests. I'm beginning to wonder if we can trust you, Tim, he says suspiciously. Tim's expression doesn't change. He looks very much as he did in Skipton when you first saw him. Too bad we've lost the rope. You look up to where it is tied to the tree. Tim walks casually to the rope, gives it a quick flick with his wrist. The end tied around the tree unties itself and spins like a top as it falls to the thief's waiting hands. You watch, astonished. All in the wrist, Tim says, winking. As soon as everyone has rested, you start walking upstream along the bottom of the ever-deepening canyon. The river grows swifter with each step. You round the bend and suddenly stop in awed silence. You have reached Treg's grim citadel. Looks like the DM was generous with the magic items. Oh, yeah. Alpha Stream says, pretty much all of the old TSR novels have some of this, and I wish they did not. Yeah, I feel like the first book we read, Secret Sorceress, must have been an exception. Like, it wasn't perfect, certainly, but wasn't like this at all. Bunkerman91 says, yeah, like, what is a kid going to internalize when they read this? Yeah, don't like this feeling normal. I feel like I'm only reading because I want there to be an ending that somehow makes this better. And I feel I will probably be disappointed. Anyway, this is another end that has us turn to page 64. We got some pictures. Cool. And we're going to have a decision coming up. First, here's the picture for this section. Okay. The dark tower of Treg's citadel blends into the black rocks of an old volcano so well that it is almost invisible. Vapors from the ancient crater stream into the overcast sky behind the somber cylinder. Numerous sparkling streams spill from the black rocks at the foot of the citadel. Almost directly below the tower, a magnificent waterfall cascades into the narrow ravine, forming the bubbling source of the river. A flimsy rope bridge crosses the chasm to the tower. Let's have a look at the map, Lysa, Tim urges. The three of you squat at the edge of the trail, studying the faded lines of Garland's map. Max's slender finger points to the X marked on the side of the volcano, directly across the stream from your present position. According to the map, something important is near that strange boulder. I'll bet there's a way into the tower just at that spot, Max exclaims. Looking at the black cliff across the river, you see a curious white rock in the place indicated on the map. The perfectly round boulder appears to be embedded in the black glassy surface. Tim clenches his strong jaw tightly as he scans the cliff towards the base of the sinister tower, glancing occasionally at the map to check details. I wonder about that faint trail disappearing into the waterfall. He points to the plummeting water below the base of the citadel. It seems like the water might be covering a cave of some kind. Maybe so, snorts Max, but look at the cliff. It's almost straight up. Maybe a thief could climb that wall, but we can't. Tim smiles determinedly and pats the shining cord. Coiled at his side. I could climb up there and throw you a rope, he answers quickly. Well, I'd rather try something a little more definite, Max objects. Besides, we can make it to that boulder without any problems. Hey, you two. We don't have to argue, you interject. What's wrong with the bridge? It leads straight to the tower. There's no sense in guessing when we see a direct way. The two men stare at you silently, then look at each other and smile. What's so funny, you demand. Tim's eyes soften when he realizes that he and Max have offended you. The bridge is the most dangerous route, Lysa. Treg leaves it there as a trap, and as far as I'm concerned, he adds with a sideways glance at Max, that mark on the map could be a trap too. That's why I'd rather try the path leading to the waterfall. Perhaps the ring can give us a clue, you suggest. You face the cliff and move your arm in a sweeping arc towards the bridge. As the ring passes by the white boulder and the waterfall, its glare becomes brighter. But when your arm passes toward the bridge, the stone grows dimmer, and the ring seems cooler on your finger. Did you see that? You cry. The ring of protection says that the bridge is safer than either of your routes into the tower. Nonsense, exclaims Max. The ring is unreliable. We can't trust that piece of elven foolishness. It might even be evil itself. If I were you, I'd throw that cursed ring into the river. A chuckle from Tin causes you both to glance at the thief. He points to the ring. That's just a simple ring of protection, he says. It's not designed to detect evil, although it might work that way sometimes. The evil on this island comes from the tower. If you stand with the ring facing the tower, its magic works to protect the wearer. Turn away from the tower. Like toward the bridge, and the magic turns off. But you mustn't throw it away, Lysa. You may need its protection. Don't trust him, shouts Max. Throw that thing away. The scholar's handsome face is distorted and dark with rage. For a moment you think he may attack Tim. Listen to me, both of you, you demand. I can make up my own mind without your assistance. This bickering will not get us into the tower. As for the ring, I trust the person who gave it to me far more than I trust either of you. Max stares at you with a strange look. Tim shrugs and then gestures towards the cliff. If either of you is coming with me, let's go before Treg gives us a personal invitation. You have to decide on a way to enter the sorcerer's stronghold. If you want to go with Max to explore the boulder, turn to page 86. If you want to go with Tim and try to climb the faint trail by the waterfall, turn to page 122. If you would rather use the bridge, turn to page 75. Okay, what do we think, everybody? This is another decision where it's not super clear. I'm very worried that going to the bridge ends up like a trap, just like both men warned you. I would really love if the bridge is the right way in and we like show them both that we can contribute. Doug in Texas votes bridge. I don't know if I'm ready to put my faith in this writer, but I am curious. Bunkerman91 says, I feel like going with thief is what the author wants, but I want bridge. Randall Wright says, feels like a choice of men. Each man is one option and the third is alone. Oh. Oh, like they're not even going to follow us to the bridge? Okay. Well, let's ditch them. TK, alone, in all caps. Okay. We're going to go to page 75. I think you're both afraid of Treg, you accuse your two quarrelsome partners. I don't care where you go. I'm crossing that bridge. If it's a trap, we need to find out about it now. Without a glance at the two surprised men, you march towards the edge of the ravine. Wait, Lysa, I'm coming with you. Oh, damn it. God damn it. Tim calls loudly. Someone needs to go with you to Treg's front door, he says with a grim smile, and it might as well be me. You glance back at Max, who is just staring at both of you in exasperation. Turning away, Max splashes across the stream toward the white boulder. Before we cross this canyon on that rotten spider web, I want to check it for traps, Tim growls. He starts feeling each of the strands of rope that forms the flimsy bridge. With the practiced skill of a master thief, he tests each of the lines by pulling, twisting, and shaking the bridge. No traps, he announces. Well, let me go first. I'm used to this kind of footwork. Stay a few steps behind me in case I decide to practice flying. The agile thief steps carefully onto the bottom strands of rope. See, this is another situation where it's like, we're getting to make decisions, but it's almost like Lysa is us watching the story or reading the story, and the two men are the ones who are actually enacting action, and then Lysa only just like chooses. And so even on choosing our own path, Tim is getting to be the active person in this scene. It's very frustrating. Watching your brave companion feel his way along the flimsy ropes, you regret your harsh accusation of cowardice. As soon as Tim has traveled several feet away, you follow him onto the dangerously swinging bridge. Try to move with the sway of the ropes, Tim calls over his shoulder. Don't make any sudden motions. After a few clumsy steps, you master the technique of walking on the slack rope. Soon, both of you are swinging precariously over the dizzying canyon. You have just reached the center of the bridge at the rope's lowest point when Tim gives a shrill cry of alarm and almost makes you lose your balance. A dragon in the sky! He screams just as the sky darkens above you, and you hear a loud flapping sound clenching the rope. And you hear a loud flapping sound. Clenching the ropes as tightly as possible, you jerk your head upward. A huge flying creature with a long pointed snout and large leathery wings like a bat's soars in a wide circle above the bridge. I'm sorry, but that's a dinosaur. It's a dino. Keep moving, Tim yells. We have to get across this chasm before that thing attacks. You realize there is no way to fight this ugly flying monster. You can't use your hands to draw your sword without losing your balance and plummeting into the canyon. You try to run, but you miss your step on the bouncing foot rope. You slip. Your legs dangle in space. Hang on, Lysa, Tim cries. He turns to grab your arm, but you are already back on the bridge. I'm all right. Let's keep going. You've just managed to stand when great gusts of wind from the giant flapping wings cause the bridge to sway and bounce. A dark shadow blocks the sun as the terrible creature dives straight towards you. Ugly talons at the tip of its wings gleam darkly against the midday sky. The monster's feet clutch at your face, large claws extended. You stand frozen at the sight of its beak-like snout, lined with rows of dagger-sharp teeth heading towards you. Then Tim's loud shout penetrates your fear. Stare at it, Lysa. It's only an illusion, one of Treg's spells. The thief's words suddenly make sense to you. You become aware of a throbbing heat from Nisla's ring of protection, a sure signal of an evil force directed at you. But it is difficult to believe that the dragon-like creature swooping down upon you is only an illusion. The sound of its great wings and the feel of the wind blasting your face are too real. You twist your head away from the horrifying monster, almost losing your grip on the ropes. Do it, Lysa. Look at it. Now! Tim's commanding voice floods your mind, but you are unable to move, paralyzed with fear. You keep your eyes tightly shut. The bridge whips and bucks so viciously that you know your hands will soon slip from the weathered ropes. A terrible cry from Tim causes you to open your eyes just in time to see the thief's body plummeting through space to the sharp black rocks below. The gigantic weight of the beast forces the rope bridge downward as the dragon lands on it just above your huddled body. In desperation, you reach for Avenger's humming hilt, but you do not have time to draw the enchanted blade. You feel a violent jerk as the rotten rope suddenly snaps under the monster's great bulk. For an instant, you float above the deep river canyon like an armored bird. As you start falling toward the dark cliff, you realize your quest is over. Well, that sucks. That the bridge was kind of a dinosaur trap. All right. Deus Ex Dragon, Bunkerman says. Do we want to try another path? We can go to Max's boulder or Tim's waterfall. I bookmarked it. I had a feeling it would be let down. Have some more water while we decide. Bunkerman says, I feel like the failure should be derived from our choice rather than some random monster just arriving. Randall says, I think the author wants us to go with Tim. Well, let's test that theory. Let's go to page 122. I'll keep this bookmarked. Okay. Something in Tim's confident grin makes you feel safe. Staring first at the rope bridge and then at the curious white boulder, you decide to go with the athletic young thief. I think Tim has the right idea, Max, you tell the disappointed scholar. The bridge is probably a trap. Tim can scout the waterfall first and let us know what's up there. If he finds something, we can follow him. If not, we can do it your way. Max's dark face flushes with anger beneath his heavy tan and beard. You're making a big mistake, Lysa. I demand that you come with me. The scholar's manner angers you, and you shake a gloved finger in his reddening face. Oh, thank goodness. Thank you. She says. No, she doesn't say that. Instead, she says whatever. You know what I mean. You can't demand anything from me, you storm. We're equal partners here, and my choice is to follow Tim's plan. You can do whatever you want to do. Although it would be foolish to separate in the shadow of Treg's citadel. But if that's what you want, then go ahead. Hi, Chrysican1. Thank you for joining us. We are reading a book and hating every second of it, but really hoping the ending makes it worth it. We're playing a choose your own adventure book with two men and our character, and we hate both of these men. They are not good examples of upstanding, healthy masculinity. Max's dark lips curl in an angry sneer. I'm not a fool, he exclaims, and you'll regret your words, both of you. I wouldn't go through that waterfall with you two for all of Treg's wealth. The enraged scholar turns away and splashes across the shallow river towards the mysterious boulder. Come on, Lysa, Tim calls. He'll cool off and follow us. We'll leave the rope dangling for him. He's just jealous. Jealous, you cry. Why would he be jealous? Hey, haven't you paid any attention to the way he stares whenever you and I are together? He can barely keep his eyes inside his skull every time I say anything to you. It's so bad I sometimes think twice before turning my back on him. Are you blind or just naive? The thief's words hit you like a slap. Max's strange behavior suddenly becomes more meaningful. The scholar's curious mood changes have worried you. The sudden shifts from gentle touches and loving words to outbursts of temper might be explained as jealousy. No, Lysa. If they are jealousy, still not okay. He's made you feel unsafe. Does not matter if it's 'cause he was jealous. Ugh. The thought that such an exciting, handsome man could be so attracted to you that he would be jealous is a completely new experience. In a way, you are flattered by the notion. What? No, we do not be flattered by this notion. We get away from Max. I hope that boulder falls on him. But you also feel uncomfortable that Max is so possessive. Thank you, but also not enough to undo what was written before that. Tim's right, you think. I am naive about men. So you're beginning to understand, says Tim. Good. Maybe we can forget about romance for a while and get on our business. Without waiting for you to reply, he heads for the shallow stream. Watching the sturdy-built young thief leaping gracefully from rock to rock over the sparkling water, you wonder if Tim could ever be jealous. You were on this quest to save your brother. Focus. The boyish thief's casual attitude toward you is sometimes friendly, but it also seems conceited and gruff. He has no sensitivity at all, you say to yourself. He wouldn't understand romantic feelings for anyone because he's too much in love with himself. You turn to see where Max is on the cliff, but he has disappeared. The strange white boulder is the only contrast against the black wall. I guess he really did find a cave or something by that rock, you think, just before splashing across the river to join Tim. When you reach the other side, Tim is already examining the sheer wall of glassy stone for footholds. Its moist surface, gross, is like a smooth ebony mirror, reflecting Tim's face with its look of intense concentration. An occasional ah or is all you hear him say. Finally, he steps backwards and looks slowly up the black wall. Watch me, Tim grins. He takes off his leather boots and puts them in his pack. Barefoot, he flattens himself against the sheer face of the cliff and reaches up as high as he can with one hand. In seconds, his practiced fingers have lodged themselves in some invisible crevice. With amazing strength, the athletic young thief pulls himself up with one hand until his bare foot can grasp the fissure. Tim moves quickly and smoothly up the cliff. You stare in fascination at his husky body climbing the wall. The agile thief clambers onto the ledge by the waterfall and inches along it toward the cascading white water. It looks like he vanishes into the falling torrent, but when he reappears less than a minute later, his clothes and hair are dry. "There's a cave up here," he yells. "A big one. Get ready to tie this line around your waist." Tim removes the short metal spike and hammer from his pack. With only a few powerful taps, he knocks the spike into the rock of the ledge where he is standing. Quickly and deftly, he ties the slender cord to the spike and drops it to your waiting hands. "Go on, tie it around your waist." Like, we don't even get to climb this wall. We're just going to get pulled up. No agency. Tim shouts and he watches while you knot the thin line several times. "Now hold on to it with both hands," he yells. The cord is so slender you doubt if it will support your full weight. To your surprise, you start to rise lightly and smoothly. The cord molds itself to your body so that it does not cut into your waist. You are even more astonished to see that Tim is not pulling the rope. It lifts you effortlessly into the air. When you reach the ledge, the magical rope deposits you gently on the narrow path. As soon as your feet touch the ledge, the cord unties itself from your waist and coils around the metal spike. Tim laughs at your astonished face. "Master thieves have very special equipment," he explains. "This enchanted cord was a present from an old friend, an elven thief who also dabbled a bit in magic. Let's check this cave for a way into the tower," he adds. "It seems that Max has already found an entrance, so we won't need to leave him the rope." The thief's large hand is surprisingly gentle as he grabs your wrist. You inch along the narrow ledge, which disappears behind the raging waterfall. You can see a large dark opening as you squeeze between the cascading water and smooth black wall. At the mouth of the cave, the ledge widens, becoming a level stone floor, pockmarked with small pools of water from the spray. Only a few steps from the entrance, the cave is pitch black. Tim sits on the damp stones and pulls on his soft leather shoes. He then finds a tinderbox and a small torch in his pack and lights it easily. Of course, we don't even get to light a torch. Just want to say. Turn to page 119. Okay, this part ends in a choice. The thief steps silently into a damp blackness of the cavern. Suddenly the glare of Tim's torch is magnified. Hundreds of torches light up inside the small, empty entry chamber. The glint of armor surrounds you. Terrified, you draw Avenger and raise the humming blade above your head. Then Tim's coarse laughter echoes in the cavern beyond. "Haven't you seen a mirror before?" he jokes. Now you have several hundred of them. A quick glance tells you what Tim means. The walls are made of black volcanic glass. They reflect your armor and Tim's torch from many different angles. Everywhere you look, you see Tim's broad grin and your own embarrassed frown as you threaten your own reflection with Avenger's glowing blade. "If you're through admiring yourself, let's search this place for an entrance to Treg's castle," Tim says, laughing. Before you can reply, a strange splashing sound comes from the far end of the cave. "Shh," warns Tim. "Hold the torch and wait here." The master thief melts easily into the darkness towards the rear. You remain alone in the center of the chamber with the torch and your enchanted sword in your hands. The cavern is deathly quiet for long minutes. You stand motionless, scarcely breathing, and strain to hear Tim's footsteps. A sudden loud splash is accompanied by Tim's frantic scream, "Help, Lysa! It's got my leg! I'm drowning!" Racing towards the furious splashing sound, you see a large pool of water in the rear of the cave. Its surface churns and froths in the torchlight. A massive object rolls over and over in the pool. You catch a glimpse of Tim's leather clothes and sandy hair, almost completely covered by the giant coils of a monstrous python. Ooh, maybe we're gonna get to do something. I'm gonna mute myself for a second because the wildlife is passing by. The snake's hide is a glistening mixture of brown, gold, and green, rippling with muscles of iron as it tries to crush Tim in its giant coils. The thief's eyes are wildly desperate as his dagger flashes in the light of your torch. The dagger barely scratches the writhing beast's tough scales. You reach the edge of the pool just as the python rears its smooth, narrow head to bite the helpless thief. The massive jaws part to reveal rows of jagged teeth. In a flash of movement, you leap into the shallow pool and swing Avenger with a mighty slash. The enchanted sword's edge, sharper than any razor, slices through the scaly hide. Your strike is so fast and sure that the python's severed head remains on its sinister neck for an instant before toppling into the churning bloody water. The thick coils convulse, loosening their hold on Tim. The thief stumbles, crawls toward the edge of the pool, only to collapse face down in the murky water. You rush to him, ignoring the convulsions of the dying monster. Grabbing the strap of his knapsack, and you pull Tim's body from the water and turn him onto his back, shoving the pack to one side. You wedge the torch into a crevice and pump quickly on the thief's sturdy body. He coughs, and you turn him on his side. Then his chest begins to heave, emptying his lungs of water. Tim's eyes flutter open with a desperate look. He rolls over in alarm. When he sees your face close to his own, he relaxes and grins weakly. You wipe the water from his forehead with your hand. Are you all right? You ask gently. I saw your sword stroke, Lysa. You really know how to use a blade. That was a hungry rock python, and you spoiled his lunch. Tim's boyish smile and laughing eyes make your heart beat rapidly. You would have given him indigestion anyway, you retort. Tim's expression changes slightly. His large, gentle hands reach for your shoulders. He pulls you across his chest towards his face. Tim's strength and warmth, combined with his boyish charm, makes you want to kiss him. Yet you know that he will let you go if you ask. His gentle touch, despite his great strength, is comforting and does not threaten you. But in the back of your mind, there are lingering doubts about Tim. You recall the throbbing of your ring after your fight in Skipton, and his hostility towards you. You know that you can decide whether or not to kiss this handsome, rude thief. It is your decision. Bunker Man, how do you really feel? Oh, Krizikan, it has been all creepy vibes. Hours of creepy vibes. Welcome to the creepy party. So, are we kissing Tim or are we not? Yeah. This one is a lot more picking a path to romance and I guess watching some other people adventure. Do we smooch? Normally I am all about smooching, but I detest both of these romantic interests so much. The author punishes us for not choosing as they want, right? Do we want me to, I'll bookmark it. We can choose to not smooch. Let's try to not smooch. She goes into so much explanation that this is a choice that I do think this one is genuinely a choice. I'm gonna guess it goes to, there are like 2 scenes that you can read, whether you kiss or don't, but then they both take you to the same page. That's my guess. All right, everyone says no smooch. I'm gonna turn to page 128. The nearness of Tim's warm lips and his gentle hands make you feel uncomfortable and comfortable at the same time. You know that you want to feel his lips caress yours. You want to stay this close to him for a long time, but your frightening experiences on Pitlick Isle are too fresh in your memory. Too many doubts have been raised about Tim. You push him away gently but firmly. The young thief's boyish smile fades. He relaxes his hold on your arms and lets you get to your feet. When you reach out your hand to help Tim up, he ignores it, looking at you with a puzzled expression. I can't figure you out, he scowls. You've been flirting with me since Skipton. You wanted me to kiss you. What kind of game are you playing, Lysa? I hate this. I hate this so much. Chat, why are we doing this to ourselves? Okay. Flirting? Why, you conceited, arrogant thief. I was friendly the only way I know how. Tears of frustration stream down your cheeks, and your shoulders shake with rage. I wasn't flirting, and I've never even kissed a man before, you sob. Tim's frown becomes an embarrassed, pained expression. Hey, I'm sorry, Lysa. I really am. If you'll help me get my foot out of my mouth, maybe it'll start working better. The boyish charm is back. The thief's lips curl into a sheepish smile of apology. Get up from the floor, Tim. You wipe your tears away. Quit acting as if that python hurt you. I'm surprised it thought you were tender enough to eat in the first place. Once more you hold out your hand. Tim accepts your help this time and rises to his feet. He puts his hands on your shoulders very tenderly and looks directly into your eyes. Doug, we have not been flirting. Especially not with Tim. I think she's been flirting with Max, but also she was surprised that Max liked her, so I don't know. Both of these people make me very, very uncomfy. Before we go on, I want you to understand why I reacted the way I did. Oh, great, thank you. Yes, please tell us. You're an extremely beautiful woman, Lysa. You act like a fighter, yet you look like a lovely princess. What man wouldn't want to kiss you? I've never wanted a permanent attachment with a woman because they're usually too girlish. Wow, I hate every word coming out of my mouth right now. But you're an exciting, adventurous person, not just a beautiful woman. Oh, okay. When you didn't want to kiss me, I thought you were teasing. Oh my god. I need... Chrysikon, wow is right. Wow is right. Randall's laughing at me. I like that. This is making me wonder, like, this is making me worried for the author. Like, is this what she thinks relationships are? And then I kind of want to look up the author after this. Tim's compliments help you understand some things about yourself? In a few words, the young thief has pinpointed the reason you could not be happy as a simple farm girl and wife. You want to be a person and not just a woman. Okay. You're the first person who's ever... Oh, what? You're the first person who's ever understood me, Tim. I've never had time for a romantic relationship. I don't know what's involved, but when I do, I want it to be with someone as exciting and as strong and especially as understanding as you. Okay. Tim's gentle hands pull you close for a moment, then push you away so that he can see your face. Just who are you, Lysa? Why are you here? Where did you learn the things you know? What things? We've seen her do nothing. She killed a snake. Okay, I lied. She killed a snake. That was pretty good. She saved his life. Tim's barrage of questions catch you off guard. His sudden change in manner confuses you. You need to trust someone, but you remember Nisla's words of warning. If you decide to reveal your identity to Tim, turn to page 132. If you still do not want to tell Tim about yourself, turn to page 127. What do we do, everybody? I'm really grossed out. I'm also really grossed out that this is a book that's purportedly about adventure, but this is a romance in an adventure setting, whereas the other book that we read was an adventure with some romance. Doug in Texas says, this book seems to hit every bad idea possible in a teen romance story. Bunkerman doubts whether we're even getting a choice. And Chrysikon says, run. I'm about to turn back to the beginning of this book and not go on this adventure. That was a choice at the beginning. Maybe it would have forced us on the adventure anyway. Okay, we're not talking to Tim. He's creepy. We do not trust. We're going to turn to 127. I can't tell you what you want to know, Tim. I'm sorry. I've never met anyone like you, and I want you to be my friend. Perhaps when all of this is over, I will share my secrets with you, but right now, I'm involved in something much more important than my own immediate happiness. Please, try to understand. Tim's warm brown eyes study yours for a long moment. His face slowly softens, and you are astonished to see tears forming in the masculine eyes. Don't love that, either. Like that's something weird. His gentle hand touches your cheek tenderly as a warm smile appears on his rugged face. I'll wait as long as you like, Lysa. In the meantime, you've got the most devoted friend anyone ever had. There are some intense things you don't know about me either. Oh, there are some things you don't know about me either. When the time comes, we'll have a lot to tell each other. He squeezes your hand reassuringly. Now, let's see if we can find a way out of this cavern into the tower. Tim turns away from you as he starts to examine the wall of the dark cave by the python's pool. You are filled with an emotion you've never experienced before as you begin to feel a loving concern for the gentle man. In the back of your mind, you wonder what things he has to tell you, whether they are important. But your new sense of caring is so joyful that this small uncertainty is forgotten. I like how she's considering him gentle after he just flipped out on her for not wanting to kiss him. Doug, I don't know whether young girls like this, but I'm not the target audience for this either, because I'm, real upset about everything that's happening and that we're reading. Okay, turn to page 130. While Tim searches the darkest corners of the cavern, you light another torch and examine the opposite wall. You become so involved in your search that you soon lose track of time. Suddenly, a loud scraping noise startles you. It comes from the corner where Tim was searching, but his torch is no longer visible. Tim? You whisper. Where are you? Are you all right? You wait in the stillness, but you hear nothing. Thinking that he may be in trouble, you run to the place where you left him, only to find that he has vanished. You examine the cavern wall carefully, but there is no evidence of a struggle. Moving toward the back of the cave, your light suddenly reveals a strange etching in the glassy black rock. It seems to be an archway carved in the solid wall, but there is no opening. The inside surface of the arch is smooth. You press your palm firmly against the rock. It moves. You are startled to see that the stone is actually a panel that swings inward on a pivot. You find yourself in a round arena, walled with 6 false archways chiseled from the black volcanic rock. The only opening is an entrance to a dark corridor to your right. Lighted torches are arranged in pairs outside each of the archways. In the center of the circular alcove is a large ivory statue of a strange creature with 6 arms and 2 grotesque heads. A pair of ritual lamps causes soft shadows to flicker over 2 ugly faces. The dancing shadows seem to make the monster wave its many arms. The position of the lamps projects long, shadowy replicas of the 6-armed creature on each of the archways. The sight chills your blood. Lysa! The horse whisper frightens you, and you start to pull the enchanted sword from its hilt. Then Tim's voice comes from behind the statue. I was just coming back for you. Walk over here and see what I found. You cross the room to the young thief. Tim takes your hand and leads you to one of the blank archways behind the statue. Now, stand here while I unlock the panel. That kind of summarizes what this whole adventure has been like. Stand here while I do this, he instructs. Tim strides quickly to the idol and presses firmly on one of the lower arms. You hear a muffled click inside the wall. The thief quickly pushes on the smooth surface. Just as you discovered in the cavern, the archway opens, revealing a dark recess through the secret doorway. Tim motions for you to follow and steps into the darkness. As soon as you clear the archway, the heavy stone panel swings shut, making the scraping sound you heard before. The darkness is thick around you. The ring of protection glows brightly. In its reddish aura, you see a pair of unlit torches on the wall. Page 133. Are we going to get a decision in this one? Okay. Tim's hands fumble in his pack for a tinderbox to light one of the 2 torches by the secret panel. As a spark finally flares into flame, the glint of gold, silver, and gems dazzles your eyes. You have found the sorcerer's treasure room. The chamber is crowded with chests, urns, boxes, overflowing with the booty of Treg's evil past. Chests are crammed with gold and silver coins, some spilling to the dusty floor. Weapons with jeweled hilts and golden sculptures lie in untidy heaps. We found it, Lysa! Treg's hidden treasure chamber! Exclaims Tim. It looks as if everything he's ever stolen is piled in here. The thief begins examining each of the containers, pausing often to identify some particular piece of jewelry. The moon star of Parnesh, stolen from the Archbishop's private collection 20 years ago. And here, it's the golden scepter of Prince Liam, he exclaims. Liam lost the kingdom when Treg stole the scepter and put his evil brother on the throne. Imagine what will happen when Liam recovers it. While Tim studies each of the valuable pieces, you're busy looking for something in particular. The treasure stolen from your family. You can remember a few of the beautiful items from your childhood. One of these was a golden cobra reared to strike, its hood flared with ruby eyes shining. You and Garland played with it, chasing the others in pretended horror, until Hildrick would catch you and laughingly scold you both. Lysa, look at this. Tim's excited whispers interrupt the pleasant memory. He stands near the back wall of the secret cubicle, holding a curious object. It is a large crystal key, meticulously carved from a beautiful, clear, and translucent gemstone. What is it, you ask, crossing the room to examine the strange object. The Diamond King of Croesus, he whispers breathlessly. I've heard of it, but only in legends. It is supposed to unlock the hidden treasure chambers of King Croesus, the richest monarch of the ancient world. This key is worth more gold than you see in this entire room. Tim is too enchanted with the key to notice that your eyes have shifted from his hands to his feet. On the dusty floor is a golden cobra with its hooded head raised as if to strike the thief's leg. It seems to guard a small chest of silver coins. When Tim moves, you approach the open chest. Quickly you notice something strange. The thin layer of dust covering everything else in the chamber is missing from the silver coins. You thrust your hand casually into the chest as if you enjoy the feel of silver. Tim looks up and smiles at you. Your probing fingers touch something at the bottom of the small chest. When Tim's back is turned, you extract a little leather-bound notebook from beneath the coins. Your heart skips a beat when you recognize your family crest embossed upon the cracked leather cover. It is Hildrick's deed book. With this book, your father can reclaim all his property stolen by Treg with forged deeds. As you thumb through the yellowed pages, a thin sheet of paper falls to the dusty floor beside the golden coils of the cobra. In the dim torchlight, you recognize Garland's bold handwriting. Glancing furtively at Tim's leather-clad back, you stuff the deed book into your breastplate and stoop to receive the message from your brother. It is a page from Garland's journal, proof that your brother found the deed book and placed it in the chest. You read the hastily scrawled note. It is the last entry in Garland's diary. He is describing his discovery of some unknown partner's treachery. I should have known that Treg would disguise himself as a thief. My friend, the thief from Skipton, knows the role so well. My resistance is almost gone. His sorcery is stronger than I imagined. I must hide Father's document before Treg manages to steal my mind. What are you reading? Tim's murmur breaks into your confused thoughts as you finish reading Garland's message. The thief's curious eyes stare at the paper in your hands. Your brother's mention of the thief from Skipton is edged in your brain. Your mind races, remembering the throbbing ring, Tim's hostility, his interest in your weapons and armor, the magical rope, Max's suspicion of the young thief. It all seems to add up to the frightening conclusion that Tim and Garland's thief are one and the same. Treg. Answer me, Lysa, what is it? What's the matter? Tim's concerned voice cuts like a knife through your ugly thoughts. You recall his growing friendliness, his gentle warmth, the boyish smile, and his great courage. Tim has become much more than just a business partner to you. You have grown to like him and his brash manner, and to rely on his quiet strength and straightforward honesty. You are torn between your suspicions and the pleasant feelings you have whenever Tim is near. You must act quickly. If Tim is Treg in disguise, you should attack immediately, while surprise is on your side. But what if he is not the sorcerer? We have a decision. If you want to confront Tim with the paper, turn to page 141. If you're certain Tim is Treg and want to attack, page 137. If you would rather try to find Max before making your decision, page 144. What do y'all think? Attack. Okay. We're going to turn to page 137. Violence is the answer. Either way, attack. He deserves it. Okay. Garland's description of the unknown thief's treachery has filled your mind with doubts about Tim. All of the friendly words, his warmth and understanding, even the boyish charm which attracted you so completely, everything about him was a lie. In your troubled mind, the image of Treg from your nightmares projected to the young thief. The ugly bald head with its hollow eyes and rotten teeth replaced Tim's laughing face. The evil sorcerer dressed in Tim's clothes is right before you in the treasure room, surrounded by the stolen booty of his criminal past. Your father's face with sightless eyes floats before you. Kill him, Hildrick commands. In a violent rage, you rush toward the monstrous apparition and swing the enchanted blade only once. The leather-clad body collapses to the floor. You stand over the fallen man, your sword ready to end any trickery. Suddenly, the horrible features begin to fade. Tim's youthful face returns, the victim of your hatred. The last clear thought you have is of Tim's gentle strength and the love that is now lost forever. Soon Treg's evil power will enslave you for the rest of your tormented life. That seems like we went from not, suspicious to, the most evil human in the world right away. But sure, that's the end. I know we really want to see if Garland is here somewhere, but I don't know if I can read more of this, y'all. This has been a slog. What is chat thinking? If you want, I can skip to the other pages real quickly and do a speed read and just tell us what some of the other branches are. You're down for the speed read? All right. Okay, we're going to do a speed read because at 8 o'clock I want to throw all of you over to the D&D channel because Indoor Recess is playing. But I do kind of want to know what happened. So we're going to turn to page 141. We confront Tim. Tim's is he thinks your brother's real brave and says some nice stuff. Oh, he calls us a wonderful, courageous woman. Oh my god. I'm gonna read this cheesy stuff. You spent too much of your life hating an evil man. With so much hatred in your heart, it's hard for love and trust to grow. If you will let me love you, we might discover a way to end Treg's malicious tyranny. But first, you'll have to trust me. Okay, I'm gonna guess that we're supposed to trust him. So we're gonna turn to page 138. Sorry, I'm okay. Help me, Tim, you sob. Please help me. Oh, I hate that response. He promises that we'll find the brother. But that they had the most important things already, the deed book. Let's see. How about the scepter? Won't Prince Liam object to its new owner? Not at all, especially since his nephew is returning it to him. Oh, okay. So it turns out Tim is the nephew of Prince Liam. His mother is Princess Lara. Liam has no children. Oh, Chrysakan says sobbing? Yeah, I guess she's sobbing because he's, talking about this truth about how, her heart is full of hate and she's got to let him in, so that they can love each other. I don't know. I hate it. But it's so basically what they're saying is Prince Liam has no heir, so that means Tim next in line for the throne. So he's a thief prince. That was his secret. Let's see. A tall warrior in full battle gear attacks. Ooh, it's Garland. Garland attacks them. And Tim tries to save you from fighting. But Lysa is basically you're no match. So are we trying to stay and help Tim handle the brother, or do you want to do as Tim suggests and find Max? Okay, Tim is basically I will hold off your brother. You decide some stuff. I feel like we're supposed to get Max, but you can't leave Garland. And you're begging for Garland to remember who you are. Garland's whole body grows rigid. Okay, it seems like she basically just cries at him, "I'm your sister, I'm your sister." And that breaks whatever spell is on him. Maybe. Ah, but then Max walks in. Max was secretly the bad guy all along. And our ring, as soon as he appears, our ring like flares. The protective aura flares and spreads everywhere. Ah, I see that ring has finally allowed you to penetrate my disguise, Lysa. And our thief prince is like, "Oh no, but he's too powerful." And Treg is like, "Listen to your friends, give up." Oh, his name is actually Prince Timon. Oh, the police are coming for Max, everybody. I'm gonna mute. Is it too loud? Should I mute it? I'm actually gonna let it go just so I have an idea how loud it actually is for everybody. I don't want to blow out people's headphones, but okay. It seems like Treg is afraid of the scepter. Don't believe him. He'll never let us go if he gets the scepter. Blah, blah, blah. He doesn't care about any of the baubles. Okay, so he seems like he just wants the scepter, and Tim is like, "No, don't give it to him." Okay, we're going to turn to page 149, because I don't think we're supposed to give it up. Oh, Treg is upset that we don't trust him. With a terrible war cry, you leap towards the ugly illusionist. Avenger's humming edge aims for the sorcerer's withered neck. Treg's hand waves in front of your enchanted sword, sending a strange yellow barrier to block the blade. The sorcerer's movement allowed Tim an opportunity to strike. Of course, Tim gets the opportunity to strike. Sure. Okay, I think this is the happy ending, so I'll read this page. Suddenly, the thief's face is transformed with inner strength. With a triumphant cry, he hurls the golden mace at Treg's evil head. It strikes him just above his left ear, making a dull thumping noise. The illusionist staggers. Tim leaps forward, grabs the scepter from the floor, and swings it as hard as he can against the cadaverous skull. A bright flash of blue-white lightning blinds you. When you are able to see, Tim is standing over what is left of Treg's corpse. The bundle of dry bones, dressed in Max's dapper clothes, has fallen among the great treasure accumulated over centuries by Treg's supernatural evil. The shining scepter of Liam in Tim's hand reminds you that your new friend is a royal heir. His boyish charm contradicts his regal and heroic figure as he stands astride the vanquished sorcerer. Garland, bewildered at all that has happened, half-heartedly rummages through the fabulous treasure that surrounds him. Tim's smile reassures you that the risk you took to regain your family's land, your father's sight, and the throne of Liam was worth everything. You wrap your arms around the heir to the kingdom, and you know that real love is no illusion. Chris-Con, are you counting the number of times he's called boyish? Because it was a lot. Also, here's the last picture. Doug in Texas. So, an NPC lands the killing blow and ends the big bad. This DM stinks. I agree. I did not love the Isle of Illusion as much as I enjoyed Secret Sorceress. That one, it had dark things happen, like we got dragged away by goblins or barbarians. And there were a few problematic things, but at the end of the day, strong heroine. She's the one who saves the day. There's a romantic interest there, but he's just there to be supportive and cheer her on and help her find her power. In Isle of Illusion, she just watches two guys do stuff the whole time. This was a very frustrating reading experience, but I'm glad I was not alone. I'm glad I got to share that with all of you. Shall we decompress a little bit? What did everyone think of that? And who here was here for the last reading, which I forgot to... I wish I had a VOD of that one and not this one. I feel bad that there's going to be a VOD of this, and it's going to be, like, imposed on people, this story. But thanks for being here to share in my frustration, at least.